Paul, Javier, good morning. Javier got up this morning to soak beans and season my pork butt and wrap it.
Wow.
For the record, the homemade hot dogs are phenomenal. Finished that yesterday. 2.5 hours on the smoker, 15 minutes poaching, and then an ice bath for hot dogs. We made 42, it turns out.
Wow.
They do not all have the same shape. They are definitely homemade hot dogs.
Huh.
Sheep casing, Javier, sheep casing. So you get the snap. Trying to emulate a Kogel dog, what they make in Michigan. I think the best hot dog on the planet. Many would argue, but I don't like Nathan's. I don't think that they're anything special. Like, I like a Chicago dog. I like the Chicago beef Vienna. But that one, the one I made, is a pork beef mix. Best part is I have the wife help me stuff them because, well, she's the veterinarian, so she knows how to tie knots in casings. It's just like surgery. Let's get to work. So I'm just getting started. I made homemade tortilla chips yesterday. You're darn right it is, Javier. The snap is the key.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Friday. And as Mark posted on X, during the football season, we have football Fridays. Well, with what's going on right now, we've got a football Friday. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. An early happy 4th to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm good, David. Right back at you. Fired up, 250. Not going to see 300. I mean, May 275 right now. If you were betting on Miller and Moulton, you'd take the under. That would be in fact, the odds would be like when Paraguay was playing Germany. There's a shot, but we're going to need a lot of things to go our way. That's just the way that's all there is to it.
Wow.
So 250s, this is a big one. And we've talked a few times this week. David and I were both kids. David, a couple of years older, but he remembers 200 probably more than I do, but I do remember all the talk in school heading into the summer about our bicentennial. I remember what a large deal it was for our nation. And I am hopeful that in the next 12 to 18 hours, whenever you get up tomorrow morning, for those of you that don't have any excitement, that a little patriotism will come your way and you'll be proud to celebrate our 250th birthday.
This is one of my favorite holidays of the year.
It is.
This is number one for you.
Has been forever, for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's either one or two for me. A lot of family time around the 4th. Don't have a big family. Now, grew up without a big family. So this was like the big family holiday, even more so than in some cases, the Thanksgiving and the Christmases. My mom worked a lot. But this was a biggie. And yes, I do remember 200 vividly. I was 10. And I will say we're not having nearly the celebration as a country at 250 that we had at 200.
Not even close.
No, it's like
It's a 2 to a
different
10.
countries. I if 200 was a 10, I would view this as almost like a -3. It seems as if I'm in a different country. The difference between 200 and 250.
No, there's no doubt. It's a different place. And we're not, we do sports, but that's why I said between, for however you feel, if you're fired up, well, then great. I'm happy because I am as well. If you're not, I would ask you to reflect a little bit between today and tomorrow morning, particularly if you have kids that are not adults yet. A lot of you are older that listen to our show and your kids are already raised. In that case, your grandkids. Remind them this is still a pretty damn good place.
And it's why over the first 3 weeks of the World Cup that we have enjoyed from afar the excitement so many people who are visiting the U.S. are having while in the U.S. Now, obviously, when we see them at the matches, they're thrilled to be there, just like we would be thrilled if we were anywhere seeing our team play. But it's just been nice on social media, okay, just, celebrating, the people that make up this country and a lot of the good things we got going on. And it's just been nice. Just I want to leave it at that. It's just been nice. Say this, Mark, with the World Cup, it grew on him, but it grew very quickly. Because remember, he was ice cold to the World Cup right on up until it was starting. And 48 hours later, he's like the tourist who showed up into town, and he's got the hat, and he's got something to blow into, and he's got beads, and he's already knows the social calendar and everywhere to go. But when it comes to the 4th of July and cooking, whoo, I'm serious. Does anybody out there know anyone who is doing as much as Mark Miller is? Because just before we went on the air, he was talking with a few people in our chat rooms and laying out all of the food that he is making from scratch. You just made hot dogs from scratch?
Hot dogs. Made those on Tuesday. Yesterday, I guess Wednesday I made them. So we stuffed them on Wednesday. They had to sit overnight in the fridge. I bought meat hooks. Took a shelf of the fridge out so I could hang meat in my refrigerator. It was glorious. It looked so nice. In my refrigerator that next morning had that meat locker smell. It was terrific.
Did you by chance take a picture? Because how many times is your fridge going to look, never mind smell, but look like a meat locker? I just wondered if at any point you took a picture of the beef hanging on the hooks.
Video.
Okay.
Video. I sent off video to people.
Gotcha.
And then I had I had to buy sheep casings, David. The key was the sheep casing.
Sheep casings.
Correct. So you use hog casings for your sausages. For a Kogel Vienna, which is the hot dog of Michigan, and it's a tremendous dog. The Michigan hot dog's got that snap to it.
Yes. Which you love.
Yes, it's the key to a dog. And
right.
So the sheep casing, from all the research I did, is the way to get the snap.
Okay.
And so I bought the sheep casings, put the mix together. I've got the meat grinder, so I ground up the pork to mix with the ground beef. And then a bunch of other stuff in there.
Can I ask a very stupid question? And I'll promise that this will be one of the last.
No. I enjoy your questions.
Because every question that I would ask about cooking would come off as a stupid question to you because you cook and I don't. So where do you go to get sheep casing?
Bass Pro Shop. Thought I would have to go online, but Bass Pro Shop had them. Because they've got the whole area for people who, whether they process their deer or their hogs or make their own stuff, they got a whole area for it.
Okay. So, and then you come home and so if you're making the hot dogs, is this like rolling dough and what have you? I mean, these things can't all be the same shape, right?
Well, you've got your meat grinder, so you mix the pork and the beef and the spices together, and then you got to let that cool. And then I get the whole family involved. I got the wife involved because she's a veterinarian. She can tie knots with, animals. Why not tie knots with a sheep casing?
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of a 2-man or 1-man, 1-woman job. And then because it's a whole process of grinding the meat. And then you had to put the meat in a food processor to emulsify it, to get it into this sticky, tacky stuff. And then you have a attachment that goes on the meat grinder. It's a sausage stuffer. I mean, I Steely Dan. Okay, I'll give you that. And you push the meat through, and you have the casings wrapped on the end of this metal thing. And yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. And the meat comes out, and you have a long, you have like a 12, 14-foot hot dog, and then you go one way, then the other way,
Right.
to make the dogs, and then you hang the meat. Then after that, after it hangs overnight, you had to smoke the meat at a very low temperature. Then you had to poach it in water. That's what gives you the snap from what my reading did. And then an ice bath. So there was a whole process. Now there's some meat.
Did you say ice bath?
Ice bath.
Okay, kind of like, a person would take.
You don't want the hot dogs to cramp up, David. Okay, that's from everything I understand. There's a lot of lactic acid involved, and you don't want the hot dogs to cramp up.
Right, we're right. They just finished the workout. This is key. You do the ice bath, 15 minutes, and then you're good to go.
Exactly.
Okay. Wow, I never knew that. Next time I'm looking at a hot dog with my mustard and relish on it, I'm going to say, "Do you guys cramp up?"
So
how you feel?
There were, you can't get all of the meat out of the tube into the casing. So there's leftover meat, and I rolled those into hot dogs without casings.
Wow.
And then when the whole process was done, I grilled those, and that was my test. I'm like, I knew there wasn't going to be a snap because there was no casing, but the question was, do these things taste like a hot dog? Because I went through a 2.5-day process going, I got no idea if these are going to be worth a damn or not. And, mustard, onion, pickle. It took a bite. I'm like, damn, tastes like a hot dog. All right, we did it. So that was just for the hot dogs. And that came on late because I cursed myself when I put the menu together and hot dogs was not on my 4th of July menu. And I'm like, what the hell? It's the 4th of July.
I agree. That was the only thing I questioned when you were talking about what you were doing. I'm like, Mark, how could you not have hot dogs on the 4th of July? Okay, final question about hot dogs. How many do you end up making?
I had about 3.5 pounds of meat with the amount that I pulled out of I pulled the hamburger out. Thank goodness for AI, because I'm like, I got this much hamburger. How much pork do I need? How many spices? Set it all up for me. And so I ended up with 42 dogs.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to have to invite some people over.
No. Don't worry. Don't you worry. I don't have to feed all of them. I mean, there can be leftover dogs because that doesn't even get into the pulled pork that's going on the smoker tomorrow morning. I got that ready this morning. Seasoned that bad boy up with the dry rub, got it wrapped up, put it back in the fridge. That was all before the show. And I'm not even, I mean, that's 2 of like 12 dishes.
Is any of this food going to survive to England, Mexico Sunday night and the U.S. Monday night?
Yes, I hope so. I mean, because I also made homemade tortilla chips yesterday. And I went to the Mexican market and got 2 big corn packages of homemade corn tortillas and made my own tortilla chips.
Wow.
Yeah. Out watching Spain yesterday because I've got a burner on the side of my grill. I had the cast iron with the the oil in there and just letting her rip. One batch after another. It's I tell you what, you make homemade tortilla chips, it's hard not to just pound those because they're delicious. And I'm just getting rolling. That's only 3 of like 12 things. I got to talk about food. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real. The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yeah, but Paul, it's not, you know what? Because the 4th of July is so fun, it doesn't feel that way. I didn't have to do this. I enjoy, you have to remember, I really enjoy doing this. That's the other side of it. Like the tortilla chips, I could buy them. The Mexican market makes them. They charge $5 for a little bag. I get 2 of these things at tortillas. I got about 4 bags of tortilla chips for, I don't know, what do they charge? $3 for I think a kilo, 3.5, something like that. I don't know, because I had to get some Mexican cheese there, and I had to get a Coke, and they overcharge for a Mexican Coke. But damn it, is it worth it? There's nothing quite like a glass bottle of Coca-Cola with pure cane sugar in it. It is effing glorious. You know, David, I just figured out the difference between 200 and 250, and I didn't even mean to. It was right there during the break. Yesterday, I had to go to the Mexican market and get my the corn tortillas, and I got some cheese. And while I was there, I'm like, damn it, I'm going to get myself a Mexican Coke. And I cut myself. And that's the difference right there. In 1976, David, we drank Coca-Cola out of a glass bottle with sugar in it.
A ton of it.
And 2026, we drink it out of a plastic bottle with high fructose corn syrup in it.
Right. That's a good point. And never mind the Coke Zeros. Right.
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 Although Coke Zero is far better than Diet Coke, and it ain't close.
I agree.
And now the restaurants are on board. Most places that carry your Coke products now have Coke Zero on the gun in addition to Diet Coke. Because if I go to, my question now, if I go somewhere, are you a Coke or a Pepsi place? And if they say Pepsi, I'll say I'll have a water or an iced tea. If they say Coke, I go, Coke Zero? And usually, yes. My mom's a good cook, but I have to give as much credit to when I was in college. I lived with two guys who could cook pretty well, and we really enjoyed Sunday dinner. And we would, John's Italian. So we'd make sauce on Sundays, and Sunday dinner was a big deal. For whatever reason, we acted like we were 80 when we were in our young 20s. And we all smoked cigarettes at the time. So we would do the old school dinner where we would drink wine, eat pasta, and not quit smoking during the entire dinner. Right out of a mob scene. Goodfellas had just come out. That might have had something to do with it.
Okay.
But then I just like it. Johnny Ridge had a chili book, so I started making Texas chili. And my first wife didn't cook well. She cooked horribly. She thought she could cook. God, she was a bad cook. And my current wife does not enjoy cooking. Well, I shouldn't even say that. She tried once for me, and I think I've told the story. We were dating, and she said she was going to make me dinner. And I went to her house, and she made dinner, and it was fine. It was very bland, but it was fine, very healthy. And then she came over to my house, and I made her dinner, and she's like, "You didn't tell me you could cook." I don't know. You didn't ask. So from that point forward, she bakes, and she's a phenomenal baker. She's making a trifle she made the cake yesterday for it. And then we're going to add the strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries and cream. It'll be a red, white, and blue dessert. Going to be phenomenal. Very excited.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour, starting 5 and a little more than 15 minutes away. So I just want to visually, if you will, complete this menu. Hot dogs, you're going to have your pork.
Right.
Your tortilla chips that you made yourself. What else are we going to end up with?
Well, I mean, I made salsa last night, homemade salsa. Daughter will make the guac. She's learned how to make the guac, so she loves doing that. Let's see, baked beans, mac and cheese. I started soaking the beans this morning, David. I made cornbread last night because you got to have some cornbread with the barbecue. This corn dish, it's like a street corn, like a Mexican takeoff out of Mexican street corn, but it's in a dish, so you don't have to eat it off the cob. Coleslaw, and probably some queso as well. So yeah, there's and a watermelon, blueberry, and then it called for feta cheese, but we said, who likes feta? And I know people out there do, but by and large, kids don't. There'll be a lot of kids here swimming. So we went marshmallows, blueberries, and mini marshmallows, blueberries, and strawberries, red, white, and blue. And then my wife's making a dessert, a trifle, which has cream and cake. And again, the blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. So it'll have a red, white, and blue thing going on. It's the 4th of July.
Right.
Yeah.
And this will all be for tomorrow.
Well, there's only about 15 to 20 people that are going to be here. I've got food for roughly 40. So I will, there'll be leftovers, and that's okay. I can eat barbecue all week.
Now, I'm curious, will you have a limit as to how much leftovers people can take? Remember, I've told the story that, Troy Aikman, a couple times he's had the crew over, tremendous host, but he loves his meatballs. And he will let you kind of go crazy when you're sitting there eating, spending your couple hours. But then when it's time to take doggy bags home, you can put a decent amount of the stuff in the doggy bags, but no more meatballs. They say.
If anybody who's coming over is listening right now, I would recommend bringing your own doggy bag because I ain't giving you one. The leftovers are mine.
Okay.
No. I don't.
All right.
I don't cook so I can send you home with a meal. You get to come over and eat the food, particularly on the 4th of July. This is a freebie holiday. Yeah, this is a no gift holiday. No one's got to bring a damn thing.
Correct.
Oh, and I'm making some sort of. My daughter drinks these Starbucks pink drinks, and they're like $5, and it drives me bat blank crazy that my daughter gets. She's gotten one for me in her life. She gets one a week from her mother. So I went online and learned how to make a hack of that drink. So I bought her the ingredients, and I tried it, and it's not bad. And I went, you know, it'd be really good in this vodka. And I can't drink, but so I not only put vodka, but some dark rum in one for my wife last Saturday or Sunday by the pool. I said, she was make one of those pink drinks you were talking about, the adult version. So I'm going to make, what do they call it? A fridge door drink where I've got a big concoction of that cocktail made up for the adults.
Gotcha. Just
because even though I can't drink, I have no issue with everybody else. Booze it up, go nuts.
Right. Just make sure, you've got the one special jar for your daughter there.
Right. No, she knows. She's got to make hers from scratch.
Right. Even though we talked about how our family fed us booze at an early age, of course, that's not going to happen in the Miller household. No.
Not with my wife around, it's not.
Well, but, she can't be around all the time.
It's a dadgum good point. So, yes.
Just saying.
It's a really solid point.
Got a long life ahead, hopefully. Knock on wood, the whole deal. Wife's got to run errands sometime. Always taking a nap. She's got friends. Got to go out, get things done. So, all right. Well, it sounds amazing. I mean, it really does. I applaud the effort. I'm okay with you not having hamburgers, even though that's, I have to admit, my 4th of July is the standard, hamburgers, hot dogs.
I got you.
Not a whole, as you would expect with me and people in and around me. There's not a whole lot of variety to a Moulton 4th of July.
Oh, one last thing. I did buy a big bag of potato chips, and I like dip for my potato chips. So I made my own French onion dip yesterday. It's really good. I'm really happy with that.
Goodness.
Yeah, that was fun. I didn't know, but I had to just try it, David, with a little bit of a spoon, because I was fearful that if I opened the bag of potato chips to try one with a potato chip, both the dip and the potato chips would have been gone.
Right.
Because I can plow through.
Sure. Yeah. So did you behave yourself?
I didn't have a chip. Just tried a little bit of the dip, put it in the fridge.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay. Very impressive.
I am very excited. I love the 4th of July. I do. I've said it all along. I don't do it with family, although my mom's going to come over, and obviously my wife and daughter, but it's friends, and you're not required to be with family on the 4th of July. You get to choose the people you're with. Thanksgiving, it's number 2 on my list, but you don't get to choose.
Right.
You have to invite whoever's around, whatever family's in town, your cousin, your wife's cousin. Come on, if you guys want to talk the whole meal, knock yourself out. You know what I get to say about it? Not a damn thing. 4th of July, different.
So if by chance Miller and Moulton were together doing something and we got pulled over by the authorities, and so they put one in one room and one in the other. So the person or people who start interrogating me, okay, when they say, well, tell us about your cohort in crime over there. And I would say, here's pretty much all you need to know. You can probably come to a 90% conclusion on just about everything if I explain to you this simple fact. Thanksgiving is his number 2 holiday. 4th of July is his number 1. Even though there are a lot of things about Thanksgiving that he likes more. But the reason Thanksgiving is number 2 is because, well, you spend it with family. And so that drops it all the way down to number 2 with my cohort in crime. That's pretty much all you need to know. Any other question that you have, I would just look at the sheet of paper with those facts on it and tell me you can't come to the answers that you're looking for. That's it. If you actually can't answer all of your questions off of that fact, then well, you got a lot of questions. Because I think it pretty much says it all.
It kind of says I'm a jerk.
No, not really.
It kind of does.
No. Hey, you could be a good family guy, just not everybody. That's the other thing that comes with staring at those two paragraphs and digging into them. Somebody at the table could go, "Oh, it sounds like your cohort in crime's a jerk." I'm just going to say, "No, not at all." But some of his family members are. Okay, and why does he want to spend one of the few holidays he gets with them? I go, "What else you got?"
In the other side of it, in the world that we live in today, my mother and my mother-in-law are on complete opposite sides of the fence when it comes politically. I mean, they are 180 degrees apart. Okay.
Yes, they are.
So that makes both my wife and I nervous because my mother-in-law will never say anything. Depending on how many glasses of wine my mother has had, you never know. And sometime around the pumpkin pie, she's had a few, and you never know.
Right.
And
Here we go.
And everybody's got a little buzz, and my wife and I are going, not this year, please, not this year. And for the most part, my mom is very good, but there'll be one little snide comment. Can you imagine that if you listen to this show? Someone from my family having a snide comment?
I don't know where you got it from. So is that when the wife looks at you and kind of taps her wrist, and that's when you go, "Hey, Mom, don't you think it's time we start rounding up our stuff and I take you home?" Isn't that pretty much? How long's your mom going to stay? Well, probably till the second glass of wine or the first sarcastic Trump comment.
Miller and Moulton starting 5 next.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332516.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That's what I'm talking about. Go Raiders. Blow things up. That a boy. That's what any holiday where you got a chance of losing a limb's a good one.
Please be safe. I've been around people who've not come back with 10 and 10, so ooh.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour on this 4th of July Eve. We know many of you are off today, and congratulations for that. Have fun this weekend. Celebrate. And celebrate, even if you got a few things that are bothering you these days, celebrate the good. Celebrate what,
It's
like.
250.
250.
That's a biggie.
Yeah. Even though it's like infancy compared to most every other country in the world.
Not for democracies.
Well, no.
Not for democracies.
Nope.
That's, I mean,
no.
Say what you will. Don't know where you are. Good, bad, different of the good old USA right now. But 250 is pretty damn good for a democracy. Look it up.
For an experiment, all right, we're doing okay. We really are. So there you have it. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
Might as well start with the World Cup. Seems to be on a lot of people's minds. Spain dominated Austria 3-0. Next up for the Spanish, Portugal. Oh, what a match that'll be. Monday night or Monday afternoon, I believe. So Ronaldo scored to tie it on a penalty kick. Then Portugal took a late lead, final minutes of regulation, if you will. And then they added 10 minutes of stoppage time. And in the 12th minute of the 10-minute stoppage time, Croatia scored to tie it at 2, only for them to take about 8 minutes and check a bunch of replays and decide, nah, that's not a goal, that's offsides.
And I don't know about you, David. I watched it live. I wasn't paying attention. The minute they showed the first replay, I went, oh, he's offsides. Like, I didn't think it was close.
But I guess the controversy was, did his teammate touch it last? It went off the back of the Portugal defender before it got to the guy who was offsides. So does that nullify the offsides? I didn't fully understand it. I must admit, for all the soccer that I've watched in 50 years, and I still don't understand every element to soccer offsides. I would like to get into it in greater detail after the starting five. I think soccer's got an offsides problem. I mean, a big problem. Like, to me, Mark, you and I are hockey guys. Hockey offsides is pretty simple.
Right. Although.
Yeah. Now, they're trying to complicate the heck out of it, and they're trying to get it down to the millimeter as to whether or not you're onside or offside. But it still comes down to, okay, is the puck in the zone at the same time or before you? If you enter the zone before the puck, you're offsides, period. That's the basic offsides rule in hockey. no matter how much they try to complicate it. Mark, I don't know about you. How many times have they shown an offsides replay in the World Cup and you've gone, well, that's not offsides? Because I have won a match. I mean, honestly, I didn't think Ronaldo was offsides. First off, the other guy's foot was ahead of Ronaldo's foot. Ronaldo had a lean forward like he was a sprinter, okay, going to the tape. But he wasn't forward. His feet were actually behind the defender. But because he had a lean to him because he was starting to run while the other guy was more flat-footed, he's offsides. And there was a bunch of these.
Yeah, and I thought he was offsides too. I
Okay.
did. I mean, I watched him.
I know. I understand. I think soccer has an offsides problem, but, you don't seem to think it has as big a one.
Well, I think this is and David, I don't want to lump you in, but I'm going to, and I apologize in advance. We watch every 4 years, and we know better than everybody else on how a sport's to be played. I am not a soccer aficionado. I am not going to tell people who watch all the time and love the sport, hey, you know what? You guys got to do this better because we as Americans don't like it this way. I won't do that. That's where I'm at. And I didn't think Ronaldo was offside, and I thought the last play was. And, I watch youth soccer, so I understand what it is better than I did before. But on those two plays, I thought they got it right. And we do this every 4 years. We complain about a sport that we watch once every 4 years.
Well, I'm not telling them how to do it. I just don't understand.
Well,
I honestly, like, if I'm the offensive player and you're the defender, okay, and if your feet are actually ahead of mine, but I'm leaning forward, so my head is 6 inches ahead of you, I don't understand how I'm offsides. Technically, you're in front of me. That's all. I just don't understand it. And I'm not saying they got to do it differently. I just think it needs to be obvious.
Well, you're not saying they have to do it differently, but you have said, and maybe this is just semantics, soccer's got an offsides problem. Well, that's telling them that they have a problem with their sport. I'm not going to do that. You can. I don't care. I don't bother me. I think it's very American of us to tell.
I'd agree with that. But then again, if you want our money, okay, then we get a voice at the table.
They've already got it.
Right.
Checks cash.
By the way, you don't have to
be for president. Come on now.
You don't have to do what we say. Okay. I'm just saying, if you want my $1 billion a year to show the World Cup, I just want a voice at the table. And then you go, that's nice. Pat me on the head and we'll go eat. But Spain's going to play Portugal in the round of 16. Switzerland shut out Algeria with goals early in each half, 2-0. All right. And they play the winner. Who do they play? I think they play the winner of Colombia and Ghana tonight. Okay, that's when that match takes place. 3 matches today: Australia, Egypt at 2, Argentina and Cape Verde at 6, Colombia, Ghana at 9:30. I believe the winner of Australia, Egypt, and Argentina, Cape Verde play each other in the round of 16. The winner of Colombia, Ghana tonight will play Switzerland. And then the round of 16 set after tonight. The 16 teams have advanced. And then the round of 16 begins tomorrow. Just Bingo. Like that. Baseball. Listen, we've said it twice already this week. The Rays are never losing again.
Here he goes again, everybody.
8 in a row. 8 in a row. Their lead is 4 in the East, 5 in the loss column. They have the 3rd best record in baseball. They have a better record than the Braves right now. I'll say this. Cedric Mullins has gotten up off the deck. He was a black hole in center field for the first 2+ months of this season. He's raised his batting average 50 points in the last month. He had 2 hits and a homer and 2 RBIs last night. And he's still only hitting 217, but he was hitting 161 in early June. Rays got it going on, folks. 5-2 over the Royals. Guardians in a battle for first in the Central. They get a 1-out, 2-run homer in the bottom of the ninth from Brian Rocchio to beat the White Sox 6-5. And now those two teams are tied for first in the Central, and they got 3 more games to play through this holiday weekend. Cardinals with 7 in the 7th. That'll get it done. They beat the Braves 11-5. Braves lead is still 2.5 over the Phillies because they lost to the Pirates 6-1. That win got the Pirates back to 500. Marlins, I mean, we were worried about them.
For July, David. They're 0 for July.
When June wrapped up and we said it was the most successful month in franchise history, and you just said, well, this can't carry over to July, can it? And I go, I don't know. They've played good baseball for 6 months. And you said, I sense a losing streak coming. Well, sure enough, since then, Colorado's whooped them 2 in a row, 14-4 last night. So they're 0-2 in July after going 20-6 in June. And they're 2 behind the Cardinals, by the way, for the final playoff spot in the National League. Texas beat Detroit 10-4. They hit 3 homers, led 5-0 early on. Texas tied for first with Seattle. Mariners beat the Angels 1-0. Bryce Miller, took a no-no into the 7th. So Mariners and Rangers tied for first out west. Reds beat the Brewers 7-2 thanks to 4 in the 4th. Milwaukee's lead over the Cubs is down to 5. Dodgers trailed 6-0 against San Diego, came back and won 12-7. Padres have lost 6 in a row. You know the Padres are 500? 500. Okay, remember when they were like the top wild card team in the National League?
Remember when they were winning that division?
Yeah, about a month ago. Now they're like 13 back. Right. Baseball handed down a 7-game suspension to Nats pitcher Cade Cavalli and Red Sox first baseman Wilson Contreras. Now, Contreras just likes to argue and just, be a pain in the butt. Although he kind of had good reason to go after Cavalli. So, walking off the field, Cavalli said something to Contreras. Contreras said, "What'd you say?" And Cavalli said, "Sit down, boy." And Cavalli lost his mind. And the bench is emptied. Miles Mikolas, a Nats pitcher, ended up getting suspended for 5 more games. But sit down, boy. You can imagine how well that's gone over. So Cavalli's already apologized. And as apologies go, it was a real attempt to be sincere.
I thought so. Look, he was way out of line in what he said. And when you say something like that, it's tough to walk any of it back.
Yep.
But that apology seemed as sincere as apologies get.
Correct.
And what he said is off in 2026. Are you kidding me?
Right.
You can't say that.
And he said, I didn't sleep at all last night. I play for the Nats. I can only imagine being a 13-year-old kid growing up in D.C., and you like our team and you like me, and now look what I've done. Okay, and I'll never be able to gain your trust back. And I don't know. It seemed
being a 13-year-old African-American boy watching.
Right.
That's what I mean. That's what he said. I mean,
Yep.
13-year-old African-American. I mean, he understood, at least with his apology. He understood the power of his words on the mound and how bad it was.
So, we'll see if Major League Baseball does anything else, and we'll see if there's any life to this. Golf, John Deere Classic. Lucas Glover tied for the lead at 8 under. Zach Johnson, who didn't play in the U.S. Senior Open because he's proud of being from Iowa and the Quad Cities, and this is like his home tournament. And so he played in it. Hell, he's 7 under. The 50-year-old's 1 shot off the lead.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, the U.S. Senior Open, where I believe he was defending champ, right? Or no, he's just one of the top guys on the senior tour and he's not playing it.
Right.
Well,
he's number 2 on the senior tour behind Stuart Sink.
Well, Stuart Sink's the co-leader at the U.S. Senior Open at 3 under. But our buddy George McNeil, 1 shot back
on Jorge. He has been playing well out there, man.
one shot back at the U.S. Senior Open at 2 under par. They're playing in Ohio at Sciota, which is the course that Jack grew up on. So they had the Senior Open there 10 years ago. And NBA is going to try out a couple of things in Summer League. One of them is a sensor in the ball, which is supposed to detect whether or not like somebody gets all ball on a block, or I don't quite understand the whole sensor in the ball thing. I'm very curious about the one free throw rule. They're going to try it out in Summer League. They've apparently been doing it in the G League for a few years. The one free throw rule is if you are shooting 1, 2, or 3 free throws in the first 46 minutes of the game, you only shoot one, and it counts for either 1 point, 2 point, or 3 points. Apparently, it's to help game flow. This way, we don't stop for as many free throws and substitutions and what have you.
What?
Yep, the one free throw rule.
You never heard of?
Well, they've been doing.
You know what? The NBA has a free throw problem.
You could argue they have a game flow problem. Okay. I don't think, Mark, this is going to get guys to play and not sit out. Okay. But,
I mean, did anybody else see Wemby miss those free throws in a really important, critical time in the NBA Finals? I don't know. I'm just checking.
Well,
who would have liked this rule? Shaq.
Well, yeah, let's just get it over with. But if you hit the free throw, like if you're fouled and it's an and one, okay, then you shoot the one free throw for 1 point. Shoot the one free throw for 2 points. But you can also shoot the one free throw for 3 points. Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
Go!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive. If you're a business who targets men, please know know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
We just lift burn bands before the 4th of July here so we can blow things up. This guy has a post. Somehow it clicked me over to the For You instead of the people I follow on X. It says NBA and NHL free agency tweets are so different, it's hilarious. Shams, jersey swap, and long, colorful description of the transaction, sometimes in multiple tweets. Friedman, Bobrovsky to Toronto, 3x7. That's so good.
NBA, they list the agency, they list the agents. Yep. Because that's where they're getting the information from.
Dang. Wow, if this is right, the NBA has now traded Paul. Oh, he's not listening. The NBA has now traded Paul George for SGA, Jaylen Brown, Domantas Sabonis, Victor Oladipo, Danilo Gallinari, and 7 first-round picks plus 4 pick swaps. Paul George is the most valuable player in NBA history. That's pretty good.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this football Friday, first Friday in July, and the day before the 4th of July holiday. For those of you who have today off, all right, have fun, be safe, and celebrate the weekend accordingly. So there. So I was not a fireworks around the apartment house yard guy, if you know what I mean. First off, I didn't live in houses growing up. I lived in apartments. And I mean, if you went just outside your apartment door and started setting off fireworks, I mean, the other people who you lived by would lose their mind. So never mind the fact that, you know, my mom just didn't buy them. We didn't have a ton of money. We weren't going to spend money on fireworks. A couple times I spent the holiday with my dad. My dad was into fireworks. My dad was into setting them off, and he always lived in a place that had land. So he would set them off.
We couldn't buy them in Michigan. I mean, to be brutally honest, you couldn't get
Okay.
the good stuff in Michigan. You had to come. I do recall, you know, when we had them and my grandparents vacationed in Southwest Florida, I think he bought his first place in like 1976, somewhere thereabouts. So when they would make their trek back north, they would stop in Tennessee because Tennessee sold at that time. Tennessee, it was the place you could get fireworks. You could get everything.
Gotcha.
And he would load the car up and illegally transport fireworks into Michigan.
There you go.
So we had some for the 4th. He had a big pole barn, would store them there, and we'd blow things up on the 4th of July.
So, but I grew up in the Northeast, and the 4th of July, from a fireworks standpoint, was a big deal, but it was communities, cities, who they foot the bill, and they hired the fireworks companies, and they put the 15, 20, 30-minute fireworks show together, usually on the night of the 4th. But then when they all realized they were doing the same thing at the same time, they started, switching it around a little bit. You do the 3rd, we'll do the 4th, you do the 5th, that sort of deal. But, the famous folks in the Northeast who did the fireworks were the Garucci brothers. All right?
Nothing sounds like a payoff there, David. Nothing sounds really more cash under the table than the Garucci brothers.
Yep. I always thought so. I always thought it sounded very 4th of July. We're celebrating America and all that our country entails. And I thought that that's a little part of Americana right there. Who's doing the fireworks? Well, the Garucci brothers.
No doubt.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
It's funny. My parents would do the fireworks without me a lot. My uncle owned one of the nicer restaurants in our town, and it sat right on the Saginaw River. Across from, on the other side of the river, was where they shot the fireworks off from on the wall. And so if you could get on the patio at Treasure Island, it was kind of a big deal. It was a big party, and you kind of had to have reservations, and it was a nicer restaurant. So I never got to go. My parents would leave and go out for the night, and I'd either get a babysitter or we'd run around the neighborhood with bottle rockets and shoot them at one another.
Exactly. Right.
So, I mean, was never really that important to me, but I could stay out until 11:30 at night without getting in any trouble. That was great.
So it is one of the few times a year in which I do miss where I grew up. Okay. Very much. All right. I liked growing up where I grew up for this particular holiday. Okay. It was a part of the country that was really into it. And it was when I enjoyed the small family and the little family time that we had. So I always think of my mom and my grandparents around this holiday. My mom, who would buy the red, white, and blue T-shirts, and she still does. Sends them to us in the mail.
Love it.
So,
Love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So
happy
yesterday,
4th.
David, I had to call a buddy, and we usually just text. I don't talk to this person nearly as much as I used to. It has become a texting relationship. But something happened in which I'm like, hey, do you got 5 minutes? This is a little longer than a text. He's
Okay.
like, busy right now, call you in a bit. So he called, and I told him my story, and he goes, funny, I forgot I had something I had to tell you that was too long for a text. So we talked a little bit. And then inevitably we talked sports. And we bashed the Red Wings for 5 to 10 minutes. And this guy used to be a big NBA fan. He has fallen out of love with that league like many people have. He goes, but you know me, I still follow sports. He goes, can you explain to me the Jaylen Brown trade? He's like, he goes, is that the worst trade in NBA history? I said, it makes the Luka trade seem okay. I mean, it is so bad that people it was so funny. I felt like I was listening to a segment of our show because he starts going, didn't other GMs in the league have to be saying, why didn't you call us? And I'm like, I at that point, I just started laughing. I'm like, you didn't listen, did you? I go, literally, that's exactly what we talked about for 10 minutes. But a day later, and, reading about it yesterday, I don't know how many texts you got following the show. I don't know who you talked to, but I mean, I'm still baffled by this. And I don't know if this is completely true, David, but I think it is. I saw a post. These are the players that Paul George has been traded for.
Ooh.
SGA.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown. Domantas Sabonis. Victor Oladipo. Danilo Gallinari. Plus 7 first-round picks. Plus 4 pick swaps. As this person said, Paul George is the most valuable player in NBA history.
Or his former general managers are some of the best general managers in NBA history. That is for sure. But let me ask you this. Does Paul George have anything memorable about him? Now, when he was with Indiana, they took the Heat to 7 in a conference final. They did, and they took him to 6, I think, the year before. Okay, he was on his way up as a player. He was an aspiring player. It's kind of like Kawhi with the Spurs. All right, then he had suffered that gruesome injury, starts getting traded around. He was in Oklahoma City for a while. He's been obviously with the Clippers, Philly. I'm just curious, you big NBA fan out there, what is it you remember Paul George for? I mean, anything?
Being hurt. I'm sorry, and I know that's the second half of his career, but a really good player who underachieved because of injury.
Just, he's one of those players that for me, I've always been like, yeah, I don't quite get the attraction. Okay. Yeah. All right. He's good. Maybe he's really good. Does he make people better? Does he make his teams better? I'm just, I mean, him and Carmelo went head to head in a series one time in 2012. All right. Yeah. He was good. Pacers won that series. Okay. That's almost 15 years ago. What do we got going on? I just don't see it. Especially now at age 36. And like I think you pointed out, I think he'll be 37 either right as the season starts or right before it. My goodness. And they got him for 2 more years under contract. Whew.
Well, that's the thing, because as you pointed out, it's 1 year and a player option. Like he's going to turn down, what is it, $57 million, I believe?
Yeah, it's 57. And so the Celtics save $3 million this year and $4 million the following when Paul George picks up his option. All right, they get off the hook a year early from Jaylen Brown's contract. You know what I mean?
Let's have some fun here, though. Because, David, I would like you to take a guess at the Paul George career earnings.
Oh, my goodness.
I know we're stealing this. I know, the Dan Patrick Show likes to do this from time to time.
Well, I didn't hear it and I didn't see it, so I am genuinely guessing. For some reason, I don't believe he's in the 500 million club, but he's just short. So I'm going to go like 470.
You're a little high, 406 in career earnings, but that does not include the next 2 years, which will get him over 500 in career earnings.
Right, because that's 111 million the next 2
Right.
years. Yeah, he'll be a 517 guy.
His net worth is $90 million for what it's worth.
Taxes.
And you get to spend money when you have that.
Yeah.
And you should.
Yes.
But
Save
his
some if you
His
can.
net worth is $90 million. His total career earnings, $406 million and change.
Yeah, I think there's like 4 players or something like that who are in the 500 plus million club in terms of on-court earnings.
Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. The only Paul George I care about is when you put John and Ringo with it.
But boom.
That is so well played.
Now, let me tell you.
I should mention with the career earnings, like David said, that's the tax man that came along.
Right.
Since you Beatles on me.
Yeah, either that or Michael Jackson stole about $1 billion that's entitled to him. Come to think of it, Paul George, if it's a certain Paul George, I don't know. 7 first-round picks and 4 pick swaps seems like a steal.
So it was so funny. I mean, we talked about everything but, and he just stops in the conversation. He's like, what the hell was Boston thinking? And as he pointed out, and we did too, up until yesterday, David, Brad Stevens was pretty highly regarded as a general manager.
Very
Very
highly
I
regarded.
don't know if we think the same way of him today as we did just 24, 48 hours ago.
I'm waiting to find out this was owner driven. I'm waiting to find out that the owner just said he wants the cap savings. Okay. I'm serious. I'm waiting for, like we said, he was out getting a haircut and his phone was in the car and they made the deal without him. Please, somebody explain this.
When we come back, we've got magic numbers and the best 68 of all time. Next, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hey, Mark,
Yes.
can you tell your buddy thank you for just kind of restoring a little bit of my faith in the sports world? That I hadn't completely lost my mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was Kess, by the way. And I had to tell him a story that I can't really tell on air because it involves people. But the story he had for me is he's telling me because he moved and he goes, I bought a mower and I got a guy like 3 houses down that sells them. So I was kind of obligated to get it from him. And he goes, I've been having all kinds of problems with it, blah, blah, blah. Well, he goes, some of it was my fault. Some of it was theirs. We got it worked out. But he goes, I'm on the phone with the tech. And he goes, you could tell the guy was from Canada. He goes, he just had a little bit of that accent. And I said, so where are you from? And he says, Canada, blah, blah, blah. He said, oh, yeah. And Dave's, he's told him from Michigan and worked in hockey and that. And he said, I had a buddy that played for the Everblades. And he's like, when were you there? And Dave's like, I was there from the start for 17 years. He's, oh, so you were there in the early days, Bob. So you might know him, Hugh Hamilton. And so we start laughing because we both know, I know Huey really well. David knew Huey really. Huey was one of the all-time great guys. I mean, just superhuman being. But he and Terry Lindgren, who's now a firefighter down here in Naples, they were notorious. I mean, they had a lot of fun here. They enjoyed Southwest Florida, and Terry enjoyed it so much he raised family here. But he says, that Hugh's, because David goes, what Hugh does now? I go, he's a teacher, I think. And he goes, no, he's a principal. And I'm like, oh my goodness,
that's spectacular.
It just this guy was a character, to say the very least. The fact that he is now molding minds of young people is hysterical.
Well, Paula, just because, first off, you can't always believe the lawyer/agent, but just say he's telling the truth. Teams could also just be checking in to, take certain notes and just store it away. I don't think anybody's going to sign him, Paula. Until he's exonerated. If he's exonerated.
So I don't know if you saw this story in Central Florida where the woman was hiking and got killed by an alligator.
Yes.
It's horrible. I feel badly for anybody that dies. Her father is yelling at Florida wildlife for not doing more about the alligators. Now, I could do segments on this on the air, and I wouldn't hold back, but I'm not going to. We live in Florida, right?
Yes,
when you go into a river or a lake, there is a chance that you are going into an area where, wait for it, an alligator could be.
In fact, I think you need to assume that you're going into a body of water that has at least one gator.
I've never set a foot in fresh water in the state of Florida just for that reason, outside of reaching to get a golf ball. Unbelievable. Yes, Enzo, exactly.
Yeah. Pool. That's it.
Uh-huh. I barely go in the golf. I can't go in the golf right now because of bacteria and crap, but I barely go in there anymore. Now that we got flesh-eating bacteria, for crying out loud. Give me Lake Michigan, Paula. No sharks, no gators.
No, Johnny, I understand. Okay, that they are, they've been in people's pools. I get it. But, you can also clearly see if one of them's in your pool. You look out and you go, huh, I'll be darned.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mark made reference to it as we went to break. Magic number time, 57 days. 8 weeks from tomorrow are your first college football games of the year. 57 days to the college season starts, 68 days away. Less than 10 weeks away from the NFL season getting underway with the Super Bowl rematch in Seattle. So 68, the number jersey we're trying to fill, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And there are some really good NFL players. A couple of Hall of Famers have donned 68. So this is an interesting one overall, and it's an interesting one just in one city. Because first off, when you look at the best players to ever wear 68 in the NFL, you've got 2 Hall of Fame linemen. Will Shields wore number 68.
Okay.
And Kevin is Mwai. I always screw his name up.
Mwai.
Kevin
Right.
Mwai, center. Both in the Hall of Fame.
You've got some guys who were very good players. Some think should be in the Hall of Fame who aren't.
Russ Grimm. I don't know if you think he's a Hall of Famer. He is in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. And then Reuben Carter and L.C. Greenwood.
There you go.
I'm going to stop right there, David, because I could argue that L.C. Greenwood is not even the best number 68 in the city of Pittsburgh.
Oh, I don't think it's arguable.
Because this Yager guy wore 68. Did I mention that for the last 42 years, a teammate of Jaromir Jagr's won the Stanley Cup?
Correct.
He had 5 scoring titles. He won the cup twice. And he's, put it this way, I even think Derek Jeter from time to time goes, you know, Jaromir was pretty good with the ladies.
Yep. He had good flow.
My wife's crush. My wife had a poster of Jaromir Jagr in her college dorm room. She liked the mullet. And funny story, she has a client. My wife's a veterinarian. I've told this before on the air. So she had a client come in the other day, and my wife's obviously from Pittsburgh, and she had a client who's from Pittsburgh and just got a new dog and named the dog Jagr. And everybody at the office where my wife works had no idea how to say it nor spell it. And when my wife looked at it, it was like Jaeger is what was on there. And my wife looked at the dog's name and looked at the lady. She was, Jagr, right? And the lady says, yeah, they have no idea who it is.
Right.
So
Jagr.
Right. So my wife spent her lunch hour pulling up pictures of Jaromir Jagr and showing them to all of her coworkers.
So it's good to know before your wife would leave you for Derek Jeter, she was leaving you for Jaromir Jagr.
Yes.
There you go.
Absolutely. And that's all-time NHL flow.
Oh, yeah.
That's right there with Ronnie Duguay.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't matter 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah. No, that's flow. No, the Golden Jet looked at Jagr and went, oh, no, he's got it going on. Oh, yeah. Yep. Plus, Jagr started and, we didn't wear helmets.
Right.
So,
it wasn't just warm-up where the guys tried to look good.
Right. You could, if you wanted to, just not wear helmets. And goodness knows he was grandfathered in, and he could have gone, for a very long time not wearing helmets if he wanted to because of when he started.
Right.
But yeah. Jaromir Jagr. Jagr. That was Jagr. Not Jägermeister. Jagermeister.
Got that right.
But so 68, I'm trying to think. It's too big a number for basketball still. And, baseball, I mean, we're close. Goodness
Well,
knows certain franchises have retired so many numbers.
Pujols wore it somewhere, didn't he?
68?
I've got it down on my list as a 68. So that's why I'm trying to look it up to make sure I'm not wrong. But I know he did not with the Cardinals.
Well, then if he wore 68, I mean, you'd have a healthy debate as to the best 68, Pujols or Yager.
Well, but he didn't wear it
But it wasn't his primary number, right?
Right. So it doesn't count. No, and he didn't. That's wrong. So whatever list I've got him 5 and 55 is what he wore late in his career. So that's when I saw it, it didn't make sense. I had to double check on Baseball Reference, and that they don't corroborate the story. So Jaromir Jagr, and look at the football players I mentioned that they're top. I mean, you got 3 Hall of Famers on the offensive line that all wore 68. But I'll still go with Jagr. So that's our 68.
Could you go back, just humor me, 10 seconds, Jagr's resume, and realize when you hear this resume, he's no better than the 3rd best player in franchise history.
Right. He's 5 scoring titles. He won the MVP 7 times. He was a first-team All-Star.
Uh-huh.
And this says, and it could be old, and I don't know if Ovechkin's passed him, but he is currently the highest scoring European-born player in the NHL history. Now, I don't know points-wise if now Ovechkin's ahead of him, because I don't know how old the thing I've got in front of me is. But an unbelievably talented player.
Almost 2,000 points. What did he, like 750 something goals? Something ridiculous as to where he is. I think he's 3rd on the all-time goal scoring list, isn't he? Ovechkin, Gretzky, Jagr. I mean, his numbers are unreal.
Yeah. Yes, they are, David.
And could you imagine having to announce him as your bronze medalist? Okay. I remember the second time I was ever at the Baseball Hall of Fame. Was it the second or the first? Anyway, the final 3 guys that got introduced were Willie Mays, Ted Williams, and Joe DiMaggio. And I just remember thinking, well, how did they decide who went where? And literally a guy from the Hall of Fame said, well, DiMaggio doesn't go anywhere unless he A, gets introduced last, and B, gets introduced as the greatest living ball player. And I remembered sitting at the Hall of Fame, hearing the announcement and going, that guy had the to say that after you just introduced Willie Mays. I mean, literally the last 4 guys Mark introduced were Aaron, Mays, Williams, and DiMaggio.
Right. It's one thing to be the bronze medalist for the Canadians. You know, I mean, you can be 6th on the Canadian. It's like being 6th on the Yankees list. You still might be one of the 10 best players to ever play the game.
Right.
But when you're on a non-original 6 team and you're the bronze medalist and that's your resume, it's like, I mean, think of all the other teams, he'd be their best player ever.
Oh, my goodness. Probably 25 out of 32 teams in the league.
Right.
Right. In fact, the more I think about it, are we sure we're putting Crosby ahead of him? I mean, I would.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure.
Come on now. Stop.
It's just 1,900 points. 700 plus goals. Just saying.
Not all of them were in Pittsburgh, 1. And 2.
Good point.
Sidney Crosby?
I know. I was just thinking out loud. That's all. I wasn't putting it in stone. It's just making sure.
Miller and
the flow.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
If I didn't say it, Ambient, I'm quite aware that Jaromir Jagr's in the Hall of Fame. Thank you, though. Oh, sorry, Jets. I answered you on the wrong thing. Plus coffee and Fuhr. I mean, all at the same time, Jets. All at the same time. Stevie Yzerman. Even though he's a pathetic general manager. Pathetic. Should be fired. They should run him out on a rail. I mean, and then the secondary players on those Jets teams, Esa Tikkanen was a phenomenal hockey player. I loved Esa Tikkanen, one of my all-time favorites. That was an early Euro that played the game the right way, in my opinion. Those Edmonton teams were so stacked, it's not even funny how good they were. Go look at those rosters. My goodness. They had Moog, who was not as good as Fuhr, but geez, oh Pete, that was a hell of a 1-2 back then. Bossy got cut short because of injury. One of the greatest goal scorers to ever play the game. 8 straight 50-goal seasons? And for a few of those years, you weren't scoring. By the end, we were all scoring a lot. Early on, wasn't the productivity in that league. But, you're bringing up some of the best players of all time, Sonny, and comparing them to Mike Bossy's on the short list of best goal scorers to ever play the game. Yeah, you and David both, Enzo, or Jets. 573. Mike Bossy had 573 goals in 752 games. And by the way, I don't know how many in the, let's see, he had a bunch of power play goals. Plus, a year that he had 69 goals, of which 27 were on the power play, he was still plus 63. plus 63. Yeah, I was not an Islanders fan. I obviously liked Kenny Morrow because of the Olympics, and he was from Flint. As far as I know, go Raiders. I mean, I read it too. I didn't really get into it because we don't get into that stuff on the show, but I just kind of read the headline and the story briefly. But I loved Edmonton. I remember and Billy Smith was dirty. Great player, dirty. Didn't like Potvin. Liked Bobby Nystrom. Liked the hair. Can't lie. I mean, Bossy had 50 goals every year of his career. Oh, God, yes, Sonny. He's probably top 25. Bossy had, well, if you go back, you'd have, so many Canadian players, but certainly in the colored television era, Bossy had 50 every year. He gets hurt as last year. He had 38 and 63 games. 17 games. Does he get 12 more? I wouldn't bet against him. That's all I'm saying. I mean, the numbers don't show that he averaged that, but I wouldn't bet against him. By the way, quickly, David, we've only got 20 seconds. I have a Feinbaum tweet from yesterday that we could steal and do a segment on.
Great.
I'm going to give it to what lasts longer? The Kelsey Swift marriage or Kiffin at LSU?
It's awesome.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. On this July 4th Eve, Football Friday, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Happy 250. If you're already off, well, good for you. Enjoy it. Have fun. Please be safe. Be careful. That's all. And particularly if you're listening and you're in Florida, not many areas of the state that are not in a drought. Please be careful if you're going to be the one buying and shooting off the fireworks. Please. Dangerous conditions out there in many areas of the state.
I had to laugh because an area close to me lifted the burn ban right before the 4th. Basically, I think they're saying we are not going to get inundated with calls for 48 straight hours because we know all of you folks are going to shoot them off.
Right.
And I'm not putting the people that are at the desk that answers the calls. They're going to actually have to deal with real problems. So I don't need every HOA in Collier County complaining about the guy in Golden Gate Estates that's shooting off fireworks.
Yeah, I'm not even lifting the ban at 12:01 a.m.
Right.
on Monday morning the 6th. I'm waiting till like 9 a.m. I'm
Right.
letting everybody get everything out of their system.
Exactly. Our old producer, he goes nuts for this.
I know.
I did not realize. We talked the other day because he's having people over and I called him to invite him here and he's like, I'm already doing something. I'm like, okay. He did see the picture of the hot dogs though, and he's intrigued. I will say that when he saw the homemade hot dog video, he's like, what's that?
Well, and just very quickly, our longtime producer who was still friendly with, his name's John Cassio. John used to be fat. Okay. Not beefy, not pudgy. Yeah. No. John was fat. John was, and at a young age, like we both met John in his early 20s. And he was about as big a guy at that age that we had ever been around who wasn't a football player. All right. But John is not overweight anymore. Okay. At all.
At all. He's skinny. He doesn't even, it looks weird.
Right. It
It
took
does.
a while. It took a while for the two of us to get used to it and to celebrate it.
I celebrate it. I'm still not used to it.
So, old John, I mean, Mark making the 42 hot dogs from scratch. Okay. I mean, John would be like, can I claim half? How many can I claim? Okay. Now this John is kind of thinking, think I could take down 4. Okay. Total.
True story. I usually have a Christmas party, and John was here with his wife and kids. And that time I didn't cook. I didn't have time for whatever reason. I went to an Italian place and just got trays of food. And I had 2 trays of chicken parm. And John, when I told him that there was a second one, he goes, and he was still skinny, or he was skinny at this point. And he's like, if I were you, I'd just put that one aside and wait till about 9 tonight and knock the whole thing down. I am going to let him know today, however, what time the dogs are going to be ready if he wants to, because he lives close enough that if he has to do like a Publix run for the wife to get 1 or 2 last minute items to just take 10 extra minutes, I would literally let him not even come in. I'll let him drive by. I'll hand him a hot dog and he can just keep right on going.
I was going to say, is that when we go to the fast food place and we get our own separate order?
Yes.
Like I used to get like 2 double cheeseburgers and I'd eat them myself and get rid of the garbage before I walked in
Yes.
with what was quote unquote dinner. So he's just going to drive by, okay, open up the mailbox, grab his 2 dogs, close it.
Yep, I will make that offer to him. Look, when you do a show like this, we research. I heard a great line a long time ago. Take 1 idea, it's theft. Take 10, it's research and development. and this is theft because I've never used this person ever for show fodder. He said some things. He does a lot. He's very popular. It's Paul Feinbaum. He had a question he put out on X, and I think they did it on one of the 4-letter network shows. I don't know because I don't watch. And let's be honest, soccer was on yesterday. That's what I was watching while cooking. But I think this is a great question. Now, the ceremony and party is going on tomorrow. There are lots of rumors that nuptials have already taken place. That, of course, is the all-American wedding of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. For the record, this is the first time we've mentioned this on the show.
Yeah.
Period. And I'm only doing it because I think this is hilarious. Paul Feinbaum's question that I am now using on our show is, which one lasts longer, the Swift-Kelce wedding or Lane Kiffin at LSU? That's fantastic. By the way, I'm going Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce all day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because I actually think that they could have a long marriage, that this could be a power couple forever. This could be, I don't know if they ever got married, but, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, they kept their same names. They've been together for 100 years.
Right. And still not married, I believe.
Right. I mean, Kevin Kline stole Phoebe Cates from all of us. They're still married.
Right.
I mean, it can happen.
Well, that, the second game she ever was rooting for him at, we were at. And I told you and came on the air and I said, they're getting married, right? And I believed it from the beginning. So, yeah, I am laughing about all the people who are bent out of shape about them renting MSG. I actually think it's brilliant. First off, what's the number one thing they want? They want privacy. I mean, if you think about it, why not rent an arena? I mean, you talk about you can control literally who comes through the doors. Okay.
You might not be able to do that same thing in a really nice hotel, believe it or not.
Exactly.
And the one thing that MSG has, see, not all arenas work this way. But like just the little arena in my backyard or the one in Tampa. We're in Florida. There's no basements, David. So when you pull up, you have to park outside and walk in. You know what they get to do?
Yep.
Drive underneath. No one gets to see her in her dress. Either, they control all the photos. Hell, we ended up with pictures. I'm trying to think of some of the big celebrity weddings where, like Madonna and Sean Penn, and I know they're divorced, but at the time, they were both megastars.
Yes.
When
That
they
was a
wed.
biggie. Right.
And they got married in California outside, if memory serves me. I don't care about these things. But inevitably, the National Enquirer, or one of the tabloid magazines at the time, paid someone to fly a helicopter over the damn wedding and take pictures.
Yep.
So pictures from that wedding came out. I mean, anytime someone seemingly gets married in a public place, we end up seeing photos that they don't necessarily want taken.
And I guess if you're rich and famous, you have a choice to make, like I guess most of us do as well, just on a grander scale. So how many people are we going to invite? And I'm sure there's a lot of pressure to invite a lot of people. I mean, think about it. Travis Kelce's played in the NFL 15 years. Come on. He's
Tight
probably got
end you is getting invited to this thing.
Right. He's probably got a lot of people he'd really like to invite. Okay. A lot of people just from the NFL that he played with and against. Never mind, obviously, all the people in her life. Well, okay. How many people can we hold in this banquet hall? Well, our hall is Madison Square Garden. Oh, okay. Don't have to worry about the guest list then.
And money's not an object.
Right.
Did you see what her tour grossed? They don't have to dip into any of his money for this wedding.
They don't have to dip into his checking account ever.
Right.
Yes, he's totally unnecessary in this relationship financially.
100%.
Right.
And not to, by the way, they seem, I don't know, they both could be jerks. They seem like nice people to me, both of them. Yeah. I mean, the stuff she did for her crew on tour, that's high-end professionalism.
Yeah, that's, I mean.
The money that she spent when the tour was done to give bonuses to the people who did the work was incredible. I mean.
Everybody got 7 figures.
Amazing.
Everybody got 7 figures.
Amazing.
I mean,
and he seems like, you watch the podcast. They could have jerk moments, but they seem like genuinely good people. I'll just go from his standpoint because she, I think, would have the ability to tell some people no. And I'm sure he does too. But see, none of her friends care about seeing him or his friends at the wedding. On the other hand, there are a lot of his friends.
Yes.
Who are, good friends. Maybe not so good friends going, teammates. Hey, am I going to get an invite to, who's playing at your wedding? Do I get to come? And then he's got to go back in that locker room. And some of the 53 probably don't get invited.
Well, here's what I love. This is the only part about this that I heard about and cared about. Although, as Paula points out in our chat room, oh, by the way, the two of them just donated about $30 million to 20 local charities ahead of the wedding. And they've also told everybody who's coming to the wedding, oh, come on, we don't need gifts. In fact, please donate to local charities and what have you. No gifts. Honestly, we're going to send them back. Don't bring a gift. Don't buy
an espresso maker. I mean,
exactly. Okay. Oh wow! I've never seen this before.
Where are you registered at? I wanted to get you a plate.
Exactly.
And
right. Man. So apparently, last night was the rehearsal dinner.
Right.
And today/tonight, I guess it's like 6 o'clock to 2 a.m. is the party.
This way, their whole ordeal is taking longer than Chuck and Di did to get married.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Britney Spears, I think, has had 2 marriages that didn't last as long as this weekend at the Garden. That's a cheap shot. I'm sorry. You know what?
That's funny.
I earned it though. But anyway, yeah, I love my divas. I can't. It doesn't matter the world. the profession. So anyway, but apparently this was the line of demarcation. Like there's apparently going to be like 1,100 guests at the wedding. So they took care of
the
your
rehearsal dinner. That's the A list.
whether or not you made this showed whether or not you're on the A list or not. Okay, if you were amongst the 150 or so that were at the rehearsal dinner.
So what you're telling me then, by the number of people that are invited to the wedding, there's no way they're doing one of those, the line there, where the greeting line where everybody.
Right.
I mean, that would take 4 days.
I was going to say that's like a stop on tour.
Right.
Okay. He's doing 3 nights at the Garden. It's starting noon on Wednesday. Right. I just love the fact that, hey, who played your wedding? Oh, we got some DJ or no, we knew a guy from a good local band and their name is such and such. And yeah, they played our wedding. They were great. Who played your wedding? Stevie Nicks. Okay. I think it's like Stevie Nicks and a country singer. Okay. And my apologies for not knowing his name. I don't want to get him confused. But yeah, who did your wedding? Stevie Nicks. Okay.
So I'm betting on the Kelsey Swift marriage over the Kiffin tenure at LSU.
Definitely.
And I think Kiffin's going to be at LSU for a decent amount of time.
I'd like to think they can't afford to pay for another coach and staff for a while.
Till he goes to the Dolphins, right?
I'd like to think he's got the rest of the decade. I mean, come on.
Rest of the decade, most of the next one. If you know what this, if you're an LSU fan, you're hoping this marriage lasts until 2035. Really and true, at least, David.
I agree, because he's also early 50s, so that would take him into his very early 60s.
Yeah, and you'd like to, you know what? And if it goes through if it goes through the entire 2030s, then you're probably putting a statue of him up in front of the place.
I was going to say he's done some winning then, most likely. Mm-hmm.
Got that right. By the way, LSU, I'm fascinated by that team this year. They're going to be favored in damn near. They might be favored in every game they play.
I know.
Now, they got to live up to it. A lot of new bodies, but a little fun. 4th of July weekend, Miller and Moulton. No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Oh, sorry. I totally agree, Paula. They're going to get right to it. Yeah, when Tim McGraw's your opening act at your wedding, excuse me.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home on this Football Friday. It is the first such Friday of July. Also happens to be July 4th Eve, and a big 4th celebration at that. Number 250. Number 250. For those of us who were around and remember 200, it's a little different now. My hope is it's a little closer in 50 years to 200 than 250, just in terms of the celebration. I hope 300 ends up being just a party. All right? Because for those of us who remember what a BFD 200 was, 250 ain't that. And that's a bummer. It's a bummer. So hopefully by 300, it's a big old party again. That would be cool. We ain't going to be around for it.
No.
But hopefully some of you are. And hopefully you remember 250 and you go, oh, this is a much, much bigger deal. Much better time. Good.
Well, I will say, and look, at every place varies. Where I am, it's a big deal. People are excited. Florida seems to like any excuse to have a party. So I'm encouraged. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I know, obviously there's a ton of burn bans. I know they just lifted one in one of the counties near me. They never put one in the county I live in. I know that up north, it's just hot.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Oh,
hot,
yeah.
hot.
Yeah,
And I know everybody in Florida is like, what do you mean hot? We know hot. Well, two things. One, they don't. And two, air conditioners are a requirement in every home up there.
right.
And you have a lot of older homes and a lot of older people in apartments and things like that where no air conditioning in this type of heat is difficult, to say the very least.
Right. The large portions of this country now built for mid-90s high humidity and heat indexes in the high, 100s to 110s. Yeah.
So I have sympathy for those that don't have AC. I'm a big fan of it. Big fan. So, Barry makes a great point because 200 was a big party.
It was.
And we were different in 1976. And I skipped the political crap.
Right.
We were just different.
Mm-hmm.
We were just being hippies. We had a lot of hair. We had really good rock and roll. I mean, when I see videos of some of the concerts from that era, whether it's a Skynyrd show, whether it's the Dead, whether it's the Stones on tour, whether it's Zeppelin, the crowds, and that's the early part of the big football stadium series. I think the biggest, before Zeppelin played, I think the Silverdome, correct me if I'm wrong, but the biggest concert that they held was in Tampa at the old Sombrero.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then the festivals, the rock festivals that were in the early 70s as well.
Yes.
I can't imagine I would have lived through them because I have an indulgence problem. And the sheer amount of things I could have gotten in trouble with at that scare the bejibbers out of me. Not to mention everybody, as Sonny says, I had a 75 Monte Carlo. Everybody, you had muscle cars then. Americans built cars were different. You knew what a car was when it drove up.
Right.
You didn't know if it was, now a car's next to you. You don't know what the hell it is. There's no difference between a Toyota, a Kia,
right.
A Chevrolet, a Ford. They're very similar.
Mercedes is making SUVs. I mean, what the hell?
So's Maserati, for crying out.
Right.
Right.
I mean,
so
what?
I just we were more fun. we didn't take ourselves nearly as seriously. Because in 76, that's before the gas prices and all that went to hell in a handbasket. I mean, 76, we're angry, but we're still living pretty large.
The way I remember it, and remember I was young, we partied for a while shortly after Nixon and Watergate because that was so depressing and so damaging. And so when we got through it, okay, for a couple years, we went on a bender. And then you had the gas prices and Iran. And then,
But that's late 70s. Like 76, exactly. We're not there yet.
No, and I mean, 76 into the next couple years, disco is going to really get going. I mean, what was disco? It was a drug-induced party.
Right. It was cocaine at Studio 54. Right.
Yeah. Right. For 2-3 years. I mean,
we didn't have Carter's speech where he said the country sucked for a couple of years yet.
Right. If he had tried that speech, he wasn't president yet. He was on his way. But if he had tried that speech in 76 where he said, yeah, I got your malaise right here. Okay. Get out of my way.
So,
okay. But you're right. The music festivals, man, now nobody tours with anybody else unless they're 40 years past their prime and they decide to, 2 acts to get together. But I mean, back then you'd have 2 or 3 acts still very much in their prime and they'd be out together doing a show.
Well, and I know, and I heard the stories because by the time I was able to go to concerts, this wasn't the way. Every city has their outdoor music place. They're the one in Palm Beach, the one in Tampa, but up north, they're a little different because they're actually, a lot of them are natural amphitheaters, like Alpine Valley in Wisconsin. It used to be the Buckeye Music Festival or near Columbus, or that was terrific. In Michigan, we had Pine Knob. And Pine Knob is an amazing place. It's a natural amphitheater. There's a hill, there's trees, it's beautiful.
Right.
But back in the 70s, if you sat on the hill, you could bring your cooler in with you.
Right.
Now, in the like the NASCAR fan then, or the Indy fan, when you went to the race, your cooler came with you.
Right. And they handed you free smokes.
Bringing your own booze into a sporting event.
Right. You could bring your own booze and then they'd hand you free smokes.
Right.
I mean, to those of us in the rest of the country, we wonder, how did it take so long for this to break through? Okay, man, the South did a good job of keeping this to themselves because, I remember being in school in the Northeast Pennsylvania in the early to mid 80s and covering races at Pocono and going, wait a minute. So this is, seriously? I mean, I had to cover the race, but there were college buddies of mine who just did the race weekend for the very reason that Mark talked about. A, they could be underage, bring in their booze, and be handed cartons of cigs.
I do laugh when you say underage because it makes me think of, and I would never do it. I mean, I would be so scared if I were walking into a party store and some kid that was 17 or 18, hey, can you get me a 6-pack? And we all did it. And I remember being in front of a party store in Saginaw with my buddy, and we asked some guy to buy beer for us. And he literally walked up and he said, guys, be careful who you ask. I'm a police officer. And he walked in and bought his stuff, and they didn't care. He knew we were going to get our beer. Didn't bother him in the least bit. Different world. Y'all had a buyer. I mean, that's just the way it worked.
So the local place where I grew up, old guy worked behind the counter, and his big thing was, so you don't ask an older person to buy you the booze and then do the exchange right outside the door here where I can see you through the glass window. Can you at least go around the side of the building?
Exactly.
Please. Right.
We would always just leave our trunk open. The guy would come, and you never got your change. Whatever you gave the guy to buy your beer with, that's what it cost. If and beer wasn't expensive then. So if you gave him a 20 and you asked for a couple cases of Busch that were like $7.99 a piece, he was keeping the $4 or $5. He got himself a couple 3-packs of smokes with that back then.
Right. I don't know. To me, the local economy seemed like it was doing just fine on that Friday, Saturday night. But
So
just hoping that you can have some fun this weekend. Be careful. We say those things now. We didn't say those things 50 years ago. You have to admit, we're a little more into safety now than we were then.
right.
We didn't give a damn about seat belts. We didn't give a damn, quite frankly, about drinking and driving. I mean, we are a lot more into safety now.
So be safe, but have fun. And I have been fired up all week for the 4th of July. I love the 4th of July. I hope people, I said it at the beginning of the show, I hope people in the next 12 to 24 hours realize how great this place is that we live in and have a great 4th of July. Understand that we live in a pretty damn good place, despite all the things that can make it sometimes not seem that way. I wouldn't move anywhere else ever.
Despite
maybe an island.
How hard so many of us seem to be working to try to make it less special. Right.
So there you go. Miller and Moulton. We've been all over the place. We haven't done a lot of sports today, to be brutally honest, because unless we want to talk about how great the Tampa Bay Rays are, what is there?
There's still so much mediocrity in the American League. I think we have to wait till at least the trade deadline, maybe even beyond, to really get into the nitty-gritty there. The National League, we seem to have 4 or 5 really good teams. So that'll be interesting, who makes what deals and then what teams look like post the trade deadline heading into the postseason. But to me, with this World Cup, the United States is going to play Monday night. But that is the end of the road for us. I mean, because we're in a bracket where the winner of our match plays the winner of Spain-Portugal.
Which will be Spain.
Right. I mean, the only chance we have is, you actually want the U.S. to make as deep a run as possible. Besides the fact that we have to keep taking care of business, we need Portugal to post the upset Monday afternoon against Spain.
And I'm not even looking that far ahead. Pull off what is a game we can win against Belgium. That's, to me, I want this to extend beyond Tuesday morning, if you know what I mean. I want another week of being excited. I don't care if Spain's next. Get me to next. And they've done an amazing job. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That's so funny. Chess King. My whole high school wardrobe was bought at Chess King in the early 80s. Mine was the Menlo Park Mall. I lived right by it in the Menlo Park Apartments in Edison, New Jersey, home of Thomas Alva and his warehouse, workshop, whatever. Spencer gifts. Huh. It's hysterical. So true. Mm, mm, mm.
'97 Camaro. Interesting. Saw a guy yesterday in a Ford Thunderbird, and it was a two-seater, and I think that's got to be early 60s because like the 57 T-Birds were big. It was a smaller Thunderbird in beautiful shape. I hope you guys aren't taking us as being negative. I thought we've been extremely positive about our country today, and I just got a text about how we're Debbie Downers on America. I'm like, I don't know how you're taking this as that, but I've been praising the country since 6:01 this morning. So
we are just saying, though, that the bicentennial celebration was a bigger deal than
Yes.
250 is. And that's, I'm sorry, that's indisputable. Because it didn't matter your politics or where you lived in 1976. It just didn't.
And today, if you're on one side, it's USA, USA. And if you're on the other, this place sucks. Sorry.
Right. Which is wrong.
Yes, it is.
Flat out wrong.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Just want to try to clear something up. You know, sometimes we come across a little differently than what we intend, or maybe you guys take what we say a little differently than what we intend. Miller and Moulton happen to be very pro-America. The only thing we've pointed out today and at other times this week is that 250 ain't the celebration nationwide that 200 was. Didn't matter what your politics were in 1976. Didn't matter what part of the country you lived in. It was a party. It was just a big celebration of having to make it to 200. Now, other stuff has gotten in the way of us partying. That's the only thing we've pointed out. That's, and we don't even think that's negative. We just think that's obvious. But, that's it. Otherwise, we're two guys that are pretty pro-America.
And I take the pretty out. We're pro-America. Always have been. Despite its warts from time to time. We are two very patriotic people.
And we have been.
We don't agree on a lot of things politically. David and I, it doesn't come off on the show. David and I have had, we've never had a screaming match about politics. We have had long, lengthy discussions where we are on polar opposite sides. And we've always had the ability to go, well, I disagree with you on that. And we're still the best of friends. That's what we think America should be about. We always have.
We missed our time to run for Congress together. We were going to be a joint ticket. We were going to do it just like the show. Mark was going to be the head of the ticket. It was an easier name to remember and to have people just, give us the lever, check the box. Okay. We were going to run as a ticket. And we were, and now, unfortunately, all the stuff we were running on 12, 15 years ago, it's all been taken from us.
Right. Gambling, legal. Dope, legal. We're done.
Right.
By the way, you know who's back? A guy that likes to party's back for one more. Ovechkin.
Yeah.
At 41, signed a 1-year deal to return to the Capitals.
And I think they're going to be good. Okay. I think they had a transition year last year, getting rid of some of the old, moving up some of the young. They had a year the year before that where they kind of played over their skis a little bit. I actually think the Caps are going to be a playoff team next year. I hope so. I hope Ovechkin goes out in the playoffs.
Would be great. It's interesting because I don't, Pittsburgh, we're getting where it's the end of Sid's career and they made the playoffs surprisingly this past year, got bounced by Philly. But when you look at, Detroit will go backward, but I mean, Florida's going to be a playoff team. So that's one less team. You wonder, both New York teams miss it, huh?
I know
the East is to get to those 2 wild card spots is going to be difficult. Ottawa underachieved. Now they don't have Brady Tkachuk, so I don't know how much that sets them back. But it will be interesting.
Obviously, we'll have plenty of time to talk about this before the season starts in about 12 weeks. I do just want to throw out, while we were kind of talking about bicentennial and now and what's different and what we celebrate. And I will say baseball was so much of a bigger deal in and around the July 4th holiday 50 years ago. Mark, I don't know about the Tigers, but obviously I grew up a Mets guy, but I didn't dislike the Yankees at all. I actually really enjoyed watching them. Of course, they were also really good when I was growing up.
Exactly.
But they were also fun. I mean, Reggie and Munson and Nettles, they had personality. They were yelling at each other every day, win or lose. They were great, great fodder. And that was without the internet. I mean, it was amazing. But anyway, Mark, in and around the 4th of July, usually one of the two teams, Mets or Yankees, was home. Sometimes they both were. But because fireworks were so big and the 4th of July was so big, the baseball teams in the Northeast anyway never had fireworks night on July 4th because they won't compete with July 4th.
Right.
But they would have it on the 3rd or the 5th, depending on when the holiday fell, etc. And Mark, I could tell you there were years, a few in a row, where my dad's mom is the person who made me a Mets fan. And she had all the Mets yearbooks from 62 to when she died. And we would go to fireworks night at Shea on either July 3rd or July 5th. That was our one game a year that we would go to.
I went to one Tiger game a year. It was usually around my birthday in August that my parents would take me to. And in 76, I don't know if I went to a game that year. Like, I don't know if we were going. I had been to a game at that point in my life. I don't know if we went in 76. But to say the Tigers, who were not good from the early 70s when I think 72, they won the division maybe. They won the series in 68 before I was born. and they were pretty good. Then after that, it fell off pretty quickly.
Very quickly, yes.
Until 84. But in 1976, David, that was the year of Mark Fidrich.
Oh, yeah.
So the Tigers were a huge deal in 1976 because they had the most electric pitcher in baseball.
He was the most electric person in baseball.
Yes.
Mark, remember ABC was trying to create with baseball what they did in football? So we had Monday Night Baseball. Cosell was on it. Euchre was on it. First time Euchre was national. All right. And Keith Jackson. That was pretty much the broadcast. Anyway, I remember a couple of Fidrich Tigers starts got moved to Monday night for Monday Night Baseball prime time. And that's the only time I got to see Mark Fidrich before the All-Star game.
Right. So, and here, and then one of them was against the Yankees, and he acted like it was the 7th game of the World Series, and the place was sold out. So, Mark Fidrich in 76, we all became Tigers fans again. Because at that point, my favorite guy was Aurelio Rodriguez, the third baseman. I loved him. Had the black glove.
Right.
And I do remember because Fidrich would always sprint off the mound. Most pitchers take their time getting back and we can't step on the third baseline. He would sprint. And every once in a while, for what and giggles, Rodriguez would try to beat him to the dugout. And that was always kind of funny to watch. So, yeah, and obviously I can think of the great teams in the 70s with the Big Red Machine, and the Red Sox were really good. So, but baseball, you think about it, David, that's when we knew starting lineups of 10, 12 teams at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Probably still recite them right now.
Yes, absolutely. And like we talked about, when only one team, there were 4 divisions, 2 in each league. And so you only had 4 playoff teams. And there were organizations that were really good in the mid and late 70s. You know how hard it was for the Orioles and Red Sox? They had to contend with the Yankees when George was spending money like no one had ever spent money before. And we can go, through the divisions. The Angels had some really good teams, but Whitey Herzog and the Royals had it going on.
And pitching mattered because the only reason the Orioles could be better than the Yankees was their starting pitching.
In the National League, it was Pittsburgh or Philly. They were both winning over 90. It was just a matter of which one was going to win the division. And for the most part, the National League West was Dodgers, Reds.
That's it.
The Giants and Braves had occasional good teams.
Cubs were an afterthought.
Yeah.
At that point. But
yes,
no,
they were.
And you're right. And here we now on how different it is. We're more interested in, and obviously the NFL is doing nothing right now, but the NFL is still the behemoth. And we're, instead of baseball talk on sports shows yesterday, it was the Jaylen Brown trade.
Right.
That dominated the sports scene. So we have certainly changed from a baseball country to damn near an everything but baseball country. But as we've said on this show forever, in your individual markets, baseball's still a big deal.
Right. It's just not national anymore.
And except for Miami, because they don't care about the Marlins at all. They don't. Well, Orlando Gary said it on our show. He doesn't even talk about them.
I know. Hey, and they're only 2 out. They're 2 out of the final playoff spot in the National League.
Well, they got to get their act together because this July's not going well to start. Miller and Moulton.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Michigan. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape. If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, MillerandMoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Barry, no doubt. Would have been huge. Huge, Caroline, huge.
It was huge.
He just said the bands alone at the Bicentennial. A Petoskey stone, huh? Okay. It's the state stone in Michigan, for those wondering. It's a nice stone. If I were to encapsulate Michigan at 250, would I put a stone in there? I don't know. She should have put a mask in. I couldn't help it. That was mean, uncalled for, and nasty.
But Paul, a part of why things are different today is, and I don't know if all 50 states did that 50 years ago, but they clearly all would have put their best foot forward for the time capsule. There were like 8 or 10 states that didn't participate in that this time around. You know, I
Don't care what your politics are. We're celebrating the country.
Wonder what flag do Tampa audience. I need to know what flag he's flying this weekend. Does he go USA on the 4th of July?
God, I hope so.
Me too. I mean, that in and of itself is I want to know. I don't know how that guy gets away with that. I mean, I do and I don't, but it's just that.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Hey, you've been a part of sports teams more than I have. I've broadcasted more games, but when you're the broadcaster for a team, plus you were marketing director, promotion director, etc. Okay, you're a part of the organization. You're getting your checks, and the top left corner of them was the
Right.
team, right? So you've been around superstition before. And it's part of why we love some of the sports movies that we do, because when they start going down the superstition road, A, it's all true, and B, the lengths you'll go to snap a skid or to keep a streak going. Mark, don't you think the Marlins need to nip this in the bud tonight in West Sacramento? They were 20-6 in June. They're 0-2 in July. They're playing the A's for the next 3. The only thing I can think of is, did you ever, especially in your jobs, were you ever given like calendars as gifts? Or certain companies had calendars with attractive women on them, say? Like my grandfather worked at a garage. And while he was very clean cut, didn't swear, not even on the golf course, but when he would go in to wash his hands in the washroom, all the truck businesses and parts and what have you, they had all their calendars. Well, it's virtually nude women on
Yes,
all
it
the
was.
calendars.
Yes, it was, David. A glorious time.
Right. And so I love the fact that
Holding a tool. A woman in a bikini with her breast popping out with a wrench in her hand.
exactly.
David. That's America.
Damn right it was. And I hope it still is in certain places. Okay. Because I want to be able to walk in those rooms and not have my wife know what's in them. Okay. I'll just remember I spent the day at the garage and he said, it's time to wash up. And I walked in the room and I was like, whoa, I ain't never seen this before. Don't you think that the Marlins have to go find the June calendar? That the woman that was on the June calendar, blonde, brunette, redhead, whatever, outfit, no outfit, I don't know, but whatever it was, don't they have to flip all the calendars back to June everywhere they are? Planes, clubhouses, okay, when they're walking across the damn field to the minor league clubhouse in Sacramento, okay, when they get back to Miami late Sunday night, I mean, don't they have to have all the calendars flipped back to June?
Yes, 100%. And not to mention they've lost 2 in July, but they lost 2 to the Rockies.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's the part that stings a little bit.
Right.
Because as the month goes on, the competition gets tougher.
Yes.
So I'm with you.
So if you're the Marlins, I think you got to go find, who was on those June calendars and just flip them back. And if somebody goes to change them, you say, you touch that calendar, you're fired.
So I do want to switch gears on you because we've talked a little bit of World Cup today. And yesterday we found out just how many of you watched the game between the United States and Bosnia-Herzegovina. And the number was ginormous. It averaged 24.4 million viewers. The peak was 31.8. This was the best rated NBA finals that we've had in since Cavs Warriors, right?
Yes, in some cases it was the best since Michael in 98, but yeah, one or the other. Either LeBron and Durant 10 years ago and Steph, or all the way back to Michael.
And LeBron, Steph in the last game, they did 24.4 million viewers in 2017. This year, it did better. That USA soccer game did better than all but 2 of the NBA final games. All but 1. It beat every game with the exception of game 5, which did 24.54 million. So it was right there with the best NBA finals in a decade.
At least. Right.
When we just wrap ourselves around the flag, we do pretty well.
Yeah. It's popular. All right. I mean, it can hide some things, but that's okay.
Sometimes it's sports. Sometimes we need to hide some crap.
Yeah, USA. What's wrong with that? We got time for those other things.
And if we beat Belgium on Monday, it's going to be bigger.
Yes, it will.
It will be bigger. I'm telling you.
I happen to disagree. Like Johnny Mack in our Twitch chat room says the new rating system is suspect. No, Johnny, I actually think the old rating system was suspect. Okay. We were doing those SEC on CBS games and those Alabama LSU games, and they were telling us we were getting 4.5 million people. Seriously? Really?
Really? I mean, to put it in perspective, yeah. But the soccer, the hockey game did a little less than 19 million. Now, that was in the morning for the gold medal. But that did a little less than 19 million.
Right.
This is just a knockout game of 32. They beat Belgium and go play Spain or Portugal in the quarters? Holy Toledo.
Do you know what the rating will be if it's 1-1 in like the 75th minute?
You mean on Monday night?
Yeah.
Period?
They might get 30 million.
They'll beat it. And if they're up 1-0, it'll be the same thing.
Not to get too geeky here, but the stat still applies. U.S. has never won a World Cup match when they did not score the first goal.
I like geeky there. That's a good geeky stat.
So, how important is the first goal? Well, first off, in any sport where there's usually not a lot of runs/goals, it's important. But in the U.S. case, we've never won when we didn't score first.
So I think the USA game peaked in the 26 million range. The hockey game. The soccer averaged 24.5, peaked over 30 million viewers.
Yeah.
And we do bring up the ratings because it does and should influence what we talk about. If the majority of you are watching something, then it's more important for us to talk about it. So the soccer has been big. It has been ginormous. And the most watched game in our nation was actually, now this is the combined Telemundo Fox numbers, but it was the Mexico-Ecuador day. Did even bigger numbers. Now, most of that's on Telemundo, but still between games with Mexico and games with the United States in this country, the television numbers are huge. And trust me, Sunday night, Mexico and England is going to get a number.
All right. I would be willing to make this bet. If you combine the English-speaking audience on Fox with the Telemundo audience for Sunday night Mexico, England, Monday night USA, Belgium, I think Mexico, England will win.
Well, Mexico, Ecuador averaged 29.3 million, David.
Right.
Okay. Now, this is just the Fox audience. I don't know what the combined Telemundo, because it would still be big on this. You know, they watch the World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, does it compare to football? No, we're not asking it to, but it compares to the NBA. And that, I mean, what college football does a little better than those NBA finals. The title game with Indiana did a little better in those NBA finals, didn't it?
Yes. Right now, the college games they're having trouble with are the semis. Back-to-back years where the semis have not been to their liking, which is part of the reason why people are screaming the season's too long.
It is.
Right. So, because their strongest ratings are the New Year's Day ratings. Imagine that.
That's when the semis should be.
Exactly.
But what do we know? Hey, we've been wrong about a lot. I think we're right on this one. But again, the World Cup is doing tremendous numbers. It will continue. You know, you've got England and Mexico. You've got Messi playing tonight. You had Ronaldo play last night. You have France playing Saturday, the favorite. I mean, it's a good little run here of primetime games, if you know what I mean.
Well, we said it earlier in the week. This World Cup for soccer is the perfect NCAA tournament basketball bracket where you've had very compelling games. You had enough upsets early on. I mean, Germany getting bounced, the Netherlands getting bounced. I mean, to really appease those that just love upsets. And then, wow, are the big boys lined up and the stars are playing like stars.
Yes.
Okay, this is a perfect storm. There are those in soccer, and Miller and Moulton, I think, have been very honest. Hate to talk about ourselves in third person, but, you know, we are what we are. We're paying attention. We're trying to be as knowledgeable as possible, but we're glorified fans. But to soccer people, Mark, I've heard a lot of longtime soccer people say, so far, this is the best World Cup that's ever been played.
But think about it from a television standpoint. I just said the Mexico-Ecuador game was the most watched. That was Tuesday in prime time. Wednesday was the United States in prime time. Last night, Ronaldo in prime time. Late this afternoon, Messi at 6 p.m. on a Friday. France, Saturday afternoon. Mexico, England, Sunday prime time. USA, Monday prime time. That is... I mean, Fox is doing the happy dance.
Now, not as high in the sky that FIFA's doing the happy dance because the television deal is up. And no one has the rights right now for 2030 and 2034. So FIFA's actually dancing the highest and the loudest and what have you. But there's, you know, Fox is sucking up to them on the way up. Because they want to keep this.
They're so excited, they don't even need the Snap-on Tools calendar to get a rise out of things, if you know what I mean.
Right.
They just, the money's making that happen for them. The bribes they're going to take to get that next TV deal are astronomical. Man, are you going to have to pay off some people for this one?
I mean,
for this to end up on a network, David, how big are the bribes going to have to be?
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Honestly, commissioners are going to have to give up their tickets to a booth for like FIFA. Okay. Just like whatever network it is, like let's just say it's ABC, ESPN that gets the rights the next time around. There may not be any room in the suites for any ABC, ESPN people. They had to give them all to FIFA.
So the next two, Morocco, Portugal, Spain,
Right.
in 2030.
Yep.
Saudi Arabia in 34. And that's all we know.
Right.
I don't think North America will get it in 12 years, but I think because this has gone so well, and like the Olympics, the U.S. television dollar drives sports.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the World Cup. I know it's the world's game, but we got the most money for television rights. Do you think that they would go, 34 Saudi Arabia, 38 wherever, by 42? Do you think there's a chance it could come back to North America? And I do say North America because the Mexico-Canada thing, I think, helps the cause, if you know what I mean.
Well, Mark, quite frankly, they'd be foolish if they didn't. I mean, in 94, that was an experiment. Let's try to bring the U.S. into, they haven't really taken hold of soccer yet. Okay, we're doing this for us more so than doing this for them. Okay, now you literally are going to have cities in America, networks in America who are begging for FIFA to bring the World Cup back as soon as possible. And in 94, it was just a grand experiment. Let's just see how this works. FIFA's trying to expand their brand. Will the United States even be interested?
So I don't know if they would go to the Far East, if you will, because obviously Japan and Korea are now playing soccer pretty well. If they'd go to South America for the following one. But I do think when, Saudi Arabia doing it alone, I think will be a thing of the past, if you know what I mean. I mean, maybe one point England would get it all to themselves, but it's going to be tough for one nation to host this.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Go!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive. If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Oh, Johnny Mac, I'm sure that's what Saudi Arabia did. They have no business hosting it. None. Sorry. None.
My mom sent me a text during a segment half hour ago. If I lived in another country, you wouldn't exist. Okay, because the government would have put me in jail and killed me before I would have had a chance to have you.
Wow.
Uh, she likes him, Deadstruck. My mother likes everybody but the Brits. Mother is a proud Irish woman. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Barry, and that's nice of you, Paula. But I'm not going to lie. Your Caitlin Clark bias wouldn't get you an invite.
Funny is funny. Now, come on.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Final hour on this 4th of July Eve. We've been kicking it around. More laid-back show today because, first off, we know that, well, for many of you, you're already celebrating the holiday. So you're already laid back. You already got your feet up. I mean, you haven't maybe started drinking, but, you know, you're in a good mood. Got some time off. You know, you like the 4th. You like America. you're in a good mood, and we're glad. And we've been kicking it back. Okay, reminiscing a little bit about the bicentennial, what's changed, sports, life, and otherwise, and just kicking around a little bit about what's going on now, a little lighter on sports and a little heavier on, life and society than normal.
This would be the first fourth I haven't drank on since the 1980s. That's a fact. And probably the mid 80s. I hate to break it to you, even though I didn't turn 21 until the 90s.
Yeah, I don't think Mom is A, surprised, and B, heartbroken over that. Mark, it put hair on your chest and it built character, remember?
That's it, right? Even in those early days, probably, I wonder if I would have had one. There's a chance I might have had a little snip of whiskey in the 70s on the 4th after fishing with my grandfather. We'd clean the fish. He and the guys would sit in the pole barn and have a shot and a beer. And every once in a while, I'd have a shot glass put in front of me with like a 16th of a shot. I mean, just enough to layer the bottom of the glass. And he'd slide it over to me. And it was awful. Awful. It burned like hell. But there was no chaser, so it was okay.
Right. If they did it in the 70s, even if they did it in 79, I mean, you were what, 10?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or turning 10.
Right.
Yeah, because you still had about 6 weeks to go until you turned 10.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing Grandpa waited till the very early 80s.
Yeah.
I'm only guessing.
It's really close. It's really close, only because he passed away when I was in the 8th grade.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I specifically remember my grandfather pouring a tad bit of whiskey for me.
Right.
So, I mean, he was gone 82, 83, somewhere in there.
I was going to say, you only had, less than a handful of 4th of Julys left with him.
Right.
Yeah. So, just having some fun on this football Friday, if you will.
Quick little golf thing, though. So the U.S. Senior Open is this weekend. And that's, the USGA, it's a big deal for them. And the Senior Tour, it's a big deal to them.
Biggest tournament they have.
Zach Johnson is currently number 2 on the Senior Tour. He threw an Eli at the Senior Tour this week because he went back and played in Iowa at the Quad Cities and bypassed the U.S. Senior Open. They're not happy. Behind the scenes, this was not met well by that tour. Well, right now, he's got those double birds flying high because not only did he shoot 7 under yesterday, he's birdied one of his first 2 holes today. He's currently in the lead at a PGA Tour event. It's one of those things. It's a home course, basically, for him.
Right. I mean, he said it's the biggest tournament on my schedule outside of the Masters. I mean, he said, this is my home. Okay. I owe a lot to these people. Okay. I love this part of the country. This is the biggest tournament I play in unless I play the Masters. And since he's a former champion, he can play it for a long time.
And I think it's still home. Like, I don't think he's one of those guys that, and I'm sure he's got a place in Florida or Arizona, but I don't think, I think that's still home.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Very much so.
And not only did he play the Quad Cities, because I paid attention to some of the mini tour events, but for whatever reason, because I had some friends that played on them, for whatever reason, and maybe because there's not a lot of golf other than the Quad Cities that comes to Iowa, they had, and I don't know if they still do, but they had a couple of events that were mini tour events that paid pretty solid money. Like, guys would go, if you were trying to be a tour player and you didn't have it, you went to Iowa to play in these 2 events. And I know for a fact that he played in these events. So this is just a little home tournament for him. And 8 under currently early in his second round.
Okay, this is how big this tournament is for him. He's not just blowing off the U.S. Senior Open to play in the John Deere. He's now going to miss the Open Championship and the Senior Open, which is played the very next week. And when asked why, he said, well, because I played in the John Deere, it means I'm going to play 4 consecutive weeks. He goes, I can't do, at my age, I can't do that. Okay. And if I'm not going over for the Open, where he's also a former champion, he goes, well, then I ain't going to play the Senior Open. So Mark, in essence, he's missing 3 majors to play in the John Deere.
So, I mean, just, we got a lot of golf fans out there. And the John Deere is one of those tournaments that's going to go away.
Yeah, it's got one more year before it'll be given Challenger Tour status.
Yep.
And for those that are pointing out, technically the tournament's on a golf course in Illinois. Yeah, it's part of the Quad Cities.
Which is Iowa.
Yeah.
Okay. The Quad Cities is half Iowa, half Illinois.
Right.
This is a big, I have plenty of friends who live in that part of the world. This is a big deal to those folks.
Right. Yep.
This is as close as the tour comes to Iowa.
Yeah. Well, hey, at the end of this month, we got the back-to-back tournaments that mean a lot to Mark and I for different reasons. You got the Michigan tournament and the Minneapolis tournament. And we're both scared that those tournaments are going to be on the Challenger Series also, which makes no sense. They've got major corporate sponsorship and they've got huge crowds.
Well, the Detroit tournament's going away because the sponsor said, I'm not paying.
Well, but he only said that because he was given the word that they were going to get demoted to the Challenger Series. Wait till you see 3M's reaction when they decide they're going to move the Minneapolis tournament to the Challenger Series also. You think they're going to be happy about that? Their corporate offices are in Minneapolis, for goodness sakes.
And Gilbert, who's Rocket Mortgage, has, single-handedly revived Detroit, for crying out loud, the money he's put into that city. So, and I'm, the Rocket Mortgage means nothing to me because it wasn't there when I grew up. The Buick Open was the tournament that I went to. That was in Grand Blanc, which is a suburb of Flint. And it was at Warwick Hills, and I used to go every year. My friend's father did a ton of work for Buick, and we always had free tickets. And, another tournament that I remember going to at 18 where we walked in with cases of beer. I mean, like literally carrying 2 suitcases each to walk in and spend the day watching golf on the 17th hole at Warwick Hills. But Florida and California have the most golf courses in the United States by state. The most public golf courses in the United States, well, they're in Michigan. By the way, it's 3rd after Florida and California for number of courses. And you're going to take the tour away from that state? Stupid. There's a lot of golf fans there. But that's what this guy wants to do. And I am certainly, look, the tour will last, but I'm not bullish on the future of the PGA Tour with what they're trying to do, David.
I think it's too much money. I actually think they're going about it all wrong. Now that they won, okay, Mark, they just had their WHA, WFL, USFL moment. This is it. No one's ever going to try this again.
Right.
And if you look how long the WHA and WFL and USFL, how long they lasted, this is a perfect analogy.
Yeah. Hey, throw the ABA in there for good measure.
Yeah. And so this is it. Quite frankly, behind closed doors, I don't know if I'd say this out loud to the Schefflers and Roys of the world, but I'd look at them and go, why do we have to have the purses that we have now going forward? We have no competition. We're a monopoly. Okay? And we're going to shell out more money going forward for events than we're shelling out now for our signature tour events. And the only reason we started shelling out $20 million purses for the signature tour was because of LIV.
And look at, it's one thing if you're football or college football, and the NBA can show you demos of younger people that make it an attractive television product. Golf has its audience. Golf advertisers spend a lot of money to capture that audience.
Wow.
But from a standpoint of sheer numbers, David, golf, we've said this for as long as you and I have done a show. The golf audience is what it is. Even with far more people playing golf than ever before. Nobody really, the same people watch every week. It's the same group of people.
Same 3 to 4 million.
Yeah.
They're all buying the same clubs, balls, what have you. Yep.
And now that we've got this champions level or whatever the hell they're going to call it with 19 events, well, how many times other than the majors and the players are all of the good players going to be at one of these events? Far less than the 8 that we have for the signature events now. They're going to play the 4 majors. They're going to play outside of that 12 more times, 11 more times. These guys like to play 13 to 15 events. That's what they do.
Yeah, the number's more 15 to 18 because you have to play a minimum of 15 PGA Tour. So usually the number for these guys is 15 to 18. But no more than 18. I mean, if a guy plays more than 18, he's considered like like Vijay Singh was one of the few in his heyday who would play like 22, 24 tournaments. Everybody else play 15, 18.
And they're not all going to play the same ones. Now they get back to picking their schedule because what they like to do is play places that they like, courses that they're good at. With the signature events, they were forced to play some places that maybe they didn't want to play, and they were all at the signature event. So I'm very curious what happens going forward.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller & Moulton.
Johnny Mac, what's from the golf guys?
I don't know if you answer this. Is there NASCAR this weekend? There's got to be. It's 4th of July, right?
They're returning to Chicagoland, which is the 1.5 mile track in, I think,
They're not
Joliet.
street race. Okay.
No, they're not. They're taking a year or two off from the street race, I believe. Or if technically the race on the San Diego base this year was considered a street race. But yeah, they're TNT, I believe, has Chicagoland. Don't quote me. 6 o'clock Sunday.
Yeah. By the way, Sonny, that's 2034 and 2051 for Oakland Hills having the U.S. Open. So it's not like it's come. I mean, that's 8 years from now.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Some thoughts, a pick or two, a thought or two about the weekend coming up, the holiday weekend coming up. Just continuing for 10 seconds longer what we were talking about last segment with the PGA Tour and splitting up and guys scheduling and all that. Did you hear Rory's joke a month ago when he was at Jack's tournament, the Memorial? He said to the regular beat reporters, he said, "Man, I don't play much of the tour anymore. I feel like a part-timer." Which, when you think about it, I think before the Memorial, he had played the PGA. And before the PGA, I think he played the Masters. You know, he actually got a minor injury in March. He withdrew from a tournament and bailed on another one. I think Rory's played like 7 technically PGA Tour events so far in the season.
And he's going to end up one short of the 15 when you add in majors and everything else in the FedEx Cup and all that stuff. You know, we every once in a while bring up retired numbers on this show. And when we're doing the greatest 68s and all that stuff that comes up. When you were gone, Trent booked one guest for the show.
Okay.
And that's with his ties to his job back in Michigan. They have connections with Tim Hardaway. And we had Tim Hardaway on, and he was terrific. He's very opinionated.
Yes.
He's a really good player.
Yes.
In fact, David, his number 10's in the rafters in Miami.
Right.
His son was just acquired by the Miami Heat.
Okay.
His son has worn 10 his whole career to honor his father.
Cool.
His dad said the following about his son wearing 10 in Miami. My legacy is my legacy, and he's doing it his way. Even though he likes to wear 10, he loves to wear 10, but that's not coming down from the rafters.
Good
I
for
love
you.
If I would have seen this story earlier, I would have texted him and begged him to come on the show to say that.
Good for you,
You're
Tim.
damn right.
Yep.
That's, you know what? That's a father-son game in the driveway that dad still takes pretty seriously.
Right.
Because
Okay.
the kid might be able to beat him now, but at his best, he ain't the old man. He ain't close. And he's really good.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Well, I mean, he's a good NBA player, but I mean, to be in the NBA, you're really, really good.
Right. Yes.
Okay? You're one of the 250 best basketball players or 500 best basketball players on planet Earth right now. Yeah, you ain't your dad. Because your dad's in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he is. And not only that, he's adored by another franchise too, because before he did what he did in Miami, he was the T in the Run TMC in Golden State. So they love him out there.
Yeah.
You know, Mark, you were out there before Steph. Okay, between Rick Barry and Steph, they had like Run TMC for about 3-4 years.
For the record, it's not the first time the younger Hardaways had to deal with that jersey number because he's played for quite a few teams. And, he played for the Knicks. They had this Walt Frazier guy.
Right.
Who wore 10.
Correct.
And he played for the Pistons. And the Pistons, when Rodman was there, he wore 10.
Yes, he did.
So he's had to deal with it before. And he's, but I mean, he said that's tough to do. When it's up there, you want it to stay up there and you don't want nobody to touch it. I love him. I love him to death. I'm happy for him. Now he's going to his hometown team. I've never done that. So I'm happy he's doing it. But no, he can't wear number 10. God bless him. That's awesome.
I love Dad.
That's absolutely awesome.
Yep. Love him to death. Take a bullet for him.
Oh,
There's nothing in this world I wouldn't do for him except take down my number from the rafters.
the more I think about it, the funnier it is to me.
It
I mean,
really
that
is.
spectacular.
It really is. Can you imagine the holiday dinner? They start breaking out the wine. They're sitting there, family talk and what have you. And eventually Dad says, son, I love you. Nothing I wouldn't do for you. At which point son waits a couple seconds and goes, except take down your number from the rafters and let me wear it. And he goes, yep.
Well, and I don't know if the younger, because I don't think he'd bring it up to Dad. I just don't know. I don't know Tim Hardaway, but hearing him speak, having him on the show, I just don't think the kid would ever bring it up to Dad at the dinner table. Here's the problem. If Tim Hardaway Jr. is married, the wife might.
Sure.
Mom might, for that matter. Mom might look right at her husband and go, what do you mean? So, I mean, but, maybe one day a grandson might be able to get away with it. But I really don't. I think the kid knows. I think Tim Hardaway Sr. is a diva in all the best ways, David.
Yes, he is.
We don't say that on this show as a negative.
Nope.
To be great, you have to be. It's damn near a prerequisite.
Hey, Tim Hardaway was a dog in college. Tim Hardaway, I think he was at UTEP.
Yeah.
Okay. Tim Hardaway took out like a number 1 Kansas team in the NCAA tournament. Okay. And believe me, he was the only pro on that UTEP team. And that Kansas team with Roy Williams was loaded in the 90s, as they always were. And yeah, he took them out of the tournament. Tim's been a dog his whole career.
I just thought I wanted to share that. I saw it earlier in the show, and we had things going on. I just thought, yeah, 4th of July family and whatever. You ain't touching my number. You ain't touching it.
That's great. That's great. It'd be nice if he could get, interesting competitive, if you know what I mean. Like if they could be a team that could make it to the second round of the playoffs. And it'd be like, oh, okay, wow, you won a playoff series. You got Giannis. Obviously, he's healthy if you won a first-round playoff series. Okay. Now let's see what you got. Who you matched up with now going forward?
I want LeBron to go to the Sixers. I know he's old, but with what they had with Maxey and now Jaylen Brown, when LeBron and I think LeBron now at his age is comfortable not being the guy. He'd be the 4 there, in terms of if they're all healthy, Maxey, Brown, Embiid, and LeBron. That would be fascinating.
I think Philadelphia only has one thing going for them, besides the fact that they're going to be competitive. It's a chance for LeBron to actually add to his legacy. For as much as I want to see him back in Cleveland, and I'd have no problem if he won another one in Cleveland. But you could argue, been there, done that. He's had 2 previous stints there. He's played 11 years there. Okay, he's taken him to the finals like 6 times. Okay, but, Mark, if he goes to Philly, wins them their first ring in over 40-plus years, and when he retires, he could go literally every team I played for, I helped deliver a ring, and oh, by the way, how many teams did I play for? 4? Damn.
Would certainly be impressive. We finish off the week and send you into the 4th of July with Today Was the Day When, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what's on tap. It's a football Friday as we celebrate America's 250th.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Mark, I don't know if you commented on one question in the YouTube chat room, but I mean, it was interesting that they added 10 minutes of extra time and they scored that goal at 12 minutes extra time. I know things can happen to have a mad time, but I didn't think anything happened that, was legitimate reason to add 2 extra minutes. But this tournament's had it all: drama, controversy, stars playing like stars. Yeah, Steve Jones won because Lehman bogeyed 18, and so did Davis Love III. Davis 3-putted from 20 feet. He missed an 18-inch par putt, and he would have been in the playoff the next day. 18 inches. It's right up there with Hoke at the Masters, and no one talks about it. Thank you, RCB. Have a good holiday.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till we say goodbye, and we wish everyone a happy 4th of July holiday. Make sure you find a way to celebrate America's 250th birthday. And you know what? Make sure you take a moment, whether it be today, tonight, or over the weekend, to honor Mark Miller and his family, because you want to talk about celebrating the holiday and how much the holiday means to them, and how you can't celebrate this holiday the right way without great fixins. Okay, Mark, sometimes we don't revisit things later on in the show that we talk about very early on in the show, and that's a fault of ours. I think it needs to be pointed out, however, that Mark Miller and his family, but mostly Mark Miller, has made from scratch for this holiday weekend celebration 42 hot dogs with sheep casings.
Sheep casings, David.
And
Sheep
that's
casings.
for the
Snap. Got to have the snap. Trying to emulate the Kogel Vienna that you can only get in Michigan. My favorite hot dog.
That's a great dog. I think it's a top 2 dog. I'd put them or Chicago. Okay.
Chicago's a good dog. It's an all beef dog.
Right. Okay, which I happen to like, but yep.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not trying to fight with Chicago hot dog people. They put a lot of crap on their hot dog. That's a lot of stuff on there.
I too take some of it off. Yes. You're doing the pork, right?
Doing the pulled pork, the beans, the mac and cheese.
Well, I wanted to get to this. I mean, tortilla chips from scratch.
Well, yeah.
You say it like, yeah, no kidding. Everybody does that. Okay, you're the only person I've ever heard of that does that. Okay, sauce, homemade salsa, homemade guac,
Baked beans. What beans you using?
Well, you use Great Northern beans. You got to soak them, and then you go through the whole process of putting the molasses and other things in there to turn them into baked beans.
Right. Mac and cheese, cornbread. Now, okay, you are, instead of doing corn on the cob, you're doing, I thought you said some kind of Mexican corn dish.
It's kind of like a street. It's a take on Mexican street corn. It's a side dish.
Okay. Homemade queso, coleslaw, some kind of watermelon dessert.
Well, there's a watermelon, blueberry, marshmallow fruit thing. We went with marshmallows instead of feta for the kids. And then my wife's making what's called a trifle. It's got blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, cream, and cake. It's red, white, and blue. You got to get that red, white, and 4th of July.
And then finally, what was simply called, quote, fruity drinks.
Fruity drink. It's the pink drink is my daughter's favorite thing at Starbucks. I'm making one with booze for the adults.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a little something, something for the effort right there?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. I mean, seriously, that's happy birthday, America. That's I'm all in on 250. And if you're not, keep it to your damn self.
I might play James Brown Living in America when I serve the food. And watch Rocky IV when I wake up.
Now you've gone way too far, but I love you. Go for it.
It's epic.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
And hell, to get in both producers, it's actually cinema. They don't know how much we love them. They really don't.
They don't.
Both of them. All right. We start in 1861 today. The Pony Express arrives in San Francisco with letters from New York.
Eric Dickerson, Craig James?
Yes,
What?
in the Camaro. I think it was a Trans Am. 1863, we mentioned that it started earlier this week. The Battle of Gettysburg ended today, a major victory for the Union during the Civil War. Happy birthday, Idaho. They got in just ahead of the nation's birthday in 1890, admitted as the 43rd state. Today in 1938, President Roosevelt dedicates the Eternal Light Peace Memorial and lights the eternal flame. 59 at the British, Gary Player wins the first of his 9 major titles. He was 23 at Muirfield when he won the British Open. We talked about festivals. Today in 1970, the Atlanta International Pop Festival opens. 200,000 in attendance. The Allman Brothers, Grand Funk Railroad, we're an American band. Another song I could play this weekend. Jimi Hendrix Experience, among others that performed. Today in 71, Jim Morrison found dead in a bathtub in a Paris apartment at the age of 27. 76, Borg wins his first of 5 straight Wimbledons, beating Elena Stasi in straight sets. Back to the Future opened today in 1985. And great player, awful general manager, Steve Yzerman officially retired from the NHL today in 2006. He had 692 goals and 1,755 points, but can't get a defenseman when he needs one.
They're removing 400 goals and 1,000 points from his resume in Detroit, but they will allow the number to remain in the rafters.
Goodness gracious. You don't know how much I loved him as a player. Like that's, when I was talking to my buddy, I was so lucky that the guys that I got to like on my teams were Barry Sanders and Steve Yzerman and Alan Trammell. And I was a Dumars guy over an Isaiah guy.
Mark,
by the way, another lousy GM in Joe Dumars. Great player, lousy GM.
Mark, the first 10 years that we did a show together, okay, you would bring this up every other month, Okay, that this is the you were like, if you want to know the soul of my fandom, these are the guys. Okay,
Yeah.
and he was one of them, and the Wings are up there as one of your, if not your favorite team. And when I remember when he left Tampa, you started rooting for Tampa in part when they made Yzerman the GM. You
Yeah.
were overboard, and then when he was leaving to go back home,
I thought we'd done it. I thought we had done it. And all we have done has gotten worse and worse. Traded a goaltender because you said you're doing great at that position. And then not only do you draft one, you sign one as a free agent. Explain that one to me, Stevie. All right, back to the show. Frank Tanana is 73. I liked him. Because he was a fireballer, and then he got hurt, and then he changed the way he threw and was still incredibly effective.
I was going to say, Mark, he threw 93 at the beginning of his career and was lucky to throw 73 at the end of his career.
Tom Cruise is 64. Moises Alou is 60. David's favorite GM, Brian Cashman's 59. Hemu Solani, 56. He was a sniper. Julian Assange, WikiLeaks, 55. Olivia Munn, 46.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. That was the perfect amount of respect. Thank you.
Elle King, that's Hartman's daughter that he completely neglected that sings the song X's and O's. Great song. She's 37. And tight end TJ Hawkinson's 29 years old today. What did I miss, David?
I think you might have had this, but did you have Idaho?
Idaho, yeah.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Idaho.
Right.
Got in right before the 4th.
That's what I thought. Okay. I thought you mentioned it, squeezed it in. So, that's it. I got nothing.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Well, we go across the pond where Michael Hewitt, they call him Mick. He's an England fan. He went on holiday, as they like to call it over there. He was heading to Barcelona, and then he was coming to the USA for the World Cup. And apparently the 65-year-old they have been searching for him for a while. He left Leeds. He's a Leeds United supporter on June the 20th. And he vanished without a trace in Barcelona. However, he was found in a pub in Barcelona by an off-duty cop who spotted his Leeds shirt while on holiday. Mick and the policeman gave each other a Leeds salute, a clenched fist over the heart. And turns out that Mick lost his phone and had no idea that there has been a global search going on for him. He's just been boozing in Barcelona the entire time. He lost his phone, but he said, I didn't lose my wallet or my passport, so why do I need to let anybody know? His family's quite relieved. He has no idea why. It's so great. For the bad, we go to Cape Coral where just before 4th of July, those damn robbers, the burglars are out and they ripped off 2 fireworks stands. Cape Coral police are asking anyone with information for the burglaries to contact them.
When you commit crime, aren't you trying to be low profile? Do you really think stealing fireworks around the 4th of July is low profile?
I don't know. I mean, is there a black market for fireworks? Or are they just going to shoot them off themselves? And how do you differentiate them from everybody else down here that's going to be blowing things up for 2 straight days?
That's true.
For the ugly, we go to Oregon, where a tournament in Beaverton has been put on hold due to complaints of hygiene by the attendees. Apparently, it's a card game called Yu-Gi-Oh! At least that's how it looks like it's pronounced. But there was a post on Discord saying, we regret to inform you that there will be a 1-week suspension on our local events. We have had issues with people mistreating the restrooms and multiple bad reviews because of poor hygiene. As a reminder, we encourage players to follow guidelines and report anyone who does not. I mean, I've heard of stinking at a card game, but this brings it to a whole new level.
Is you-guy-o a synonym for go fish? You-guy-o. What? You-guy-o.
And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, July the 3rd, and it's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, hiring new officers, offering great pay. CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com.
And I'll tell you what, if you return those missing fireworks, we'll throw another $5,000 on top of your starting salary. No? Well, that's after you get handcuffed and what have you. We'll negotiate it. Mark knows the sheriff, okay, really well. We'll negotiate on your behalf. Baseball, obviously, big weekend, 4th of July. You may have heard of it. The Rays are in Houston. Marlins are in Sacramento. Face the A's. I'm going to miss saying that in a couple of years. I really am.
I know you are.
By the way, Cardinals at Wrigley for the weekend and take on the Cubs.
That's the game they're showing Saturday night on Fox.
Big weekend in the area. You got the golf tournament in the Quad Cities. You got the NASCAR race at Chicagoland, not in the streets of Chicago. It's the racetrack out in Joliet. It's a 1.5 mile oval. And you got the triple header today. And then is it just double headers after today? Because we're down to
Saturday, 2 on Sunday, 2 on Monday. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, triple header at 2, 6, and 9:30. They're all on Fox. Australia, Egypt at 2. Messi in Argentina against Cape Verde at 6. Colombia, Ghana, 9:30 on Fox.
I mean, you get Mo Salah, you get Messi, and then you get Colombia and Ghana. That's pretty good.
I agree.
Canada, Morocco tomorrow in the early game. That's at 1. Paraguay and France at 5. And then we get Brazil as the lead-in to Mexico, England.
Right.
I mean, Brazil against Norway with Holland the score. I mean, it's pretty solid.
And the guys rowing.
Right.
You'll have the salsa dancing against the rowers. It'll be magic.
That could be like a 3-2 game. I mean, that could have some offense in it, if you know what I mean. That could be 4-3 for all we know.
Hey, happy 4th to you and your family with everything you've been through.
Right back at you.
God bless you. And I'm glad. I hope the meal's great. And to all of you out there, thanks for listening. Appreciate your support. If you want to sponsor the show, we'd appreciate it. And have a great holiday.
Yeah, God bless America. Enjoy 250. Have a great time. Be safe. We'll be back on Monday because we don't have anything else to do. Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
No! This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive. If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, MillerandMoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton